got the other section of T he has to deal with.
Did we see M19 get wiped?
I don't, wait.
No, they got elite player left.
Okay, yeah, so they lost a lot of players there, but at least they have that presence, right? So it's just going to be snaking from here on out. At the same time, X5 frag, losing Rizzle, or Risley. Is it Rizzle or Risley? Have we made up our minds about that one?
Risley?
Risley?
Lee?
Has it got 2 E's?
Yeah, Lee?
That's how I'd like initially read it. But maybe
Yeah.
it's Rizzle. I don't know, it's hard. It's a hard life.
You never know. Players put some strange letters into their name thinking, all right, that's going to make it unique, but
That's
it's,
true. And
just
like make
screwing
it
up.
literally unreadable.
We got a new circle. It's shifting up a little bit north of the center. Not too much. It's pretty much central. X-Frag's actually getting killed and out on 15th place.
Oh, that was lovely, man. That was a great grenade.
That's a really good nader. But he did have the stone to actually bounce it towards. So even if you throw a little bit too far, it's gonna bounce back from this from the rock or stone and back on that player.
Okay, meanwhile now Navi rotating in further, getting a little bit closer. This is a good flank coming in from Batulin. Might be able to catch out Dicer at least. Yeah, he spots him right before he gets behind that ridge line. The rest of his team moving up as a single unit to lead the charge. Another man drops, and they're just going to massacre this team, leaving them down to only a single player in Recrent.
This execution is so nice to see from Navi. They actually get a knock, they get the finish on that guy, and they know they have the upper hand, so we just keep on going.
Yeah, Vega Squadron, meanwhile, also in a little bit of hot water. Vampire Game is going to find one at least, tries to go for the kill secure, but he needs to recharge. New man goes in.
They're going to blow the US.
So much fire coming in, and yeah, there it is. And with that, that's Vega also taken out.
On 13th place, I think.
I believe so, because I mean, there's a lot of people dying simultaneously.
Yeah.
So they go out in 13th place. We already lost 4 of these teams. For's another team that did pretty well as well in the first
we had
week.
Force and TE Storm going out early, and they were on 3rd and 4th position coming into this week.
Yeah, so rough start for them in game number 1. But I mean, same thing can be said for a fair amount of these players. M19 are down to 1 player, for instance. The guys who made it up from Bravo doing quite well. QBF doing a lot of damage now with that. That's the potential, or true potential, pardon me. Huge potential taken out. The Swarm's still doing some damage.
The Swarm had a good ridge there to play from, holding them out. But they still have QBF over here that is pushing as well. And one is knocked from the Swarm here. So that can be easy for him to hold this. Yeah,
gets picked up now. Elite player's behind them, so he could easily find an angle, but obviously he's playing the placement game. But here it is. The white flank comes in. Best luck drops 1.
One knock, they're down to 1 player. This is it for them.
Yeah. This should, for all intents and purposes, be over. You can see it right there. They pop the vehicle, he goes down. And that's going to be another team going out. We actually lost 3 teams in the span of like 30 seconds.
We're missing this.
There's so much going on, man. There's so many kills.
But look at Vanguard's position there. Kind of sent in a circle, and they have a really good compound there that they're holding. That's really nice to see. They can get a lot of kills from here because most of the teams will be inside their line of sight, so they can actually shoot them from far distance. And they have the hard cover, so they can actually peek. Even if they get knocked, they can still pick them up easily.
Like
safely.
You've got the entire section of the map from 9 to 3 o'clock that you can cover essentially from those buildings. It's only down south, down the slope.
You got the little hill there.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. So like, isn't that between like 12 and 1, the little hill?
Yeah,
to the north, So on the right side of that compound, if we look at it that way. But for the most part, like you have a lot of coverage. Down south, though, you've got that slope, so you can't really look down that one.
Kid got 4 kills right now. Still doing pretty good, 4-man up.
Yeah, they're hanging in. Like, we're actually seeing a fair amount of teams with 4 players still intact. Unique are still in this one as well. Remember, they were third-partying a little bit earlier on. Spot another guy.
Windsire's going to have a tough situation over there getting into the circle.
Yeah, lose 1 to the zone as well. Slicker, who got dropped earlier on.
Yeah.
But at least with him dying to the zone, that's 16 points denied there for Unique.
No, because he actually got knocked from a player before. He just got finished by the zone.
Oh, wait, yeah, so that I guess that gives... Oh, that's right.
So
it shows up on the kill feed, but he still gets the point. Yeah,
exactly. So Unique will get that kill, those kill points as well. The tab, last one. Just trying to out-heal it.
Do you remember, like, way back in the early iteration of PUBG when you got the knock, but then whoever shot the guy got the points? So annoying.
I remember back in the days when we didn't have kill points.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that was rough.
It's so frustrating. Oh, well. 8 teams left, 24 players. You can see we have 4 players in Unique, 4 still here for Na'Vi, who've survived Hellfire and High Water. It's
they've been doing
good.
good.
Crazy, man, that they're still alive.
They missing some helmets and armors, I think, though. But it's still like if they just keep them alive and keep on going, they might be able to do it.
Saddam Nick. He takes a huge shot there to the chest, and that's a vest gone.
It's Young Sandy with M24.
See, that's the thing, man. You don't have a vest. He'll drop you really quickly. QBF, by the way, remember that they picked up that AWM a little bit earlier on. And you can see right there, Pin. Finds the drop onto Azdarin. Random friends. Not sure how many... I think that's gone. That's random. I think that's random friends gone. Another good shot comes in onto Sado once more from Young Sani.
And he actually gets knocked by that. Oh, TE Battle actually out now as well.
A lot happening. Ooh, nice grenade there. If it gets him. No, oh, it's in the wrong room, but that was nonetheless a really good grenade.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to get it in through the barred windows because it's sort of RNG, I'd say, if you hit the bars or not sometimes. It's not really, but it's kind of hard to like hit it.
Yeah, I mean, you need to be a mathematical genius, like to make the calculation in
You
your
gotta
head.
be Sheldon Cooper.
Sheldon Cooper. Yeah, well, QBF, they've got a decent position initially, I'd say, but now they're kind of caught out in the open, so you need to be careful to not get, ambushed from on top of that ridgeline, which you can actually see right now. Unique are moving in. Good grenade from Maxizor. Almost catches Best Luck as well.
More nades raining in on them there.
Man, they're going to be in a very tough position now. Play With Me comes in from the back lines. Like I said, Unique on top of that ridge is going to drop him immediately. Hello Senpai gone. Silence also drops Sid and goes for the kill. Kit Kat chiming in on this one. And dude, they go all over the place. Young Stanley drops Sado now for the second time. Recording is going to kill Battling as well.
Knocking him.
Knocking him.
Yeah.
Thank you. There's so much going on though. Really messy now. This is where everything really starts ramping up.
That's QBF out, actually. So the AVM is free to pick up right now.
Ooh.
And Pin still had 13 bullets in that one. So even if you pick it up now, there's still a lot of shots, decent damage you can do with it.
I mean, for sure. If anything, like it's great for just removing vests and stuff like that, right?
Removing heads.
Removing heads. Ooh, that was a close shot there from Maxizor. I mean, remember that. Like, I was giving this guy a lot of praise in the first week because he was landing some gnarly shots. Yeah,
the thing is, like, you don't need to knock them. You just want to, even if you just tag them in the armors, because the armors kind of destroys pretty quick right now in this patch. So if you get rid of their armors, you can take a head-on fight later on pretty easy. Just body shot them and knock them pretty easy. Yeah,
SMGs, rifles become that much more powerful when they don't have that protection. You're absolutely right, man. It's another interesting little element.
Getting pushed by Kit Kat here.
Kobe.
That's a good name.
Ooh,
it does land, but doesn't kill him, though. He's the last man up for Na'Vi as well, so he's just trying to stay alive here, but he's going to get spot out by Young Sani, and there he goes.
Instant headshot.
Ooh, that was a nutty headshot there from Young Sani.
That was sick, man. Like, even though you can see he's only got 2 kills, he's been doing a ton of damage to these players. Like, you can see him tagging Na'Vi all the way up to the very end. Until that very final moment where he goes down. Now we are getting into a little bit of a close quarters fight, though, as Unique are going to be pushing this compound. Dies on top of the roof, finds a really nice shot onto Masturbator.
But Unique actually have one guy in the compound here. See, down here already.
2.
Yeah, 2 now. And they're going to get picked up, and this is really bad for Vanga. They need to focus on taking one of their houses only.
Yeah, but the issue here that I'm seeing it is that they've lost 2 now, right? Or at least they've lost 1. But I like this. Amago are going to be pushing the issue on the outside. He's going to go on the flank. He gets him immediately. At the same time, you can see that Play With Me moves in and gets a kill onto Johnny Bones at least, so there is a bit of an equalizer. Now, it looks as if it's down to 1 versus 1 here in the close range.
And yeah, it's down to 1v1 because Diaz is not getting picked up by Hobbits. Hobbits is actually leaving. He knows that if he goes inside the circle, he can actually gatekeep the other player from getting in later. He wants to get the position first and then keep out the other guy from coming in. Oh, Hobbits actually get killed by recording. So that's a Vanguard out on 4th place.
Yeah, Kit Kat. I've got 12 kills in this one, recording at 5 frags individually. And like you said, you know, of last week, I mean, these guys were still some very hot contenders for making it into the top 5 for these games. And thus far, they're here in the first one.
Yeah.
A lot of damage dealt by these guys, or at least a lot of kill stealing or third partying.
12 kills, that's already 192 points only from the kills.
How did you...
Quick math.
Quick maths, man.
Yeah.
You're so good.
Compared to random friends here, they only got 32 points with the 2 kills they got. But they might be going more for the placement here.
Yeah, we'll
Either
have to
way,
see.
if KitKat would go out there, they're still doing really good on the first game.
Yeah, I mean, because it adds to the tally, right?
Yeah.
So you're almost making 600 points in the first game, which is absolutely insane. Like, that's more than some of the teams made in all 4 games
Yep.
that we saw in the first week. But nonetheless, 8 players left alive, and we still have 4 players here for the guys in KitKat.
Yeah, KitKat with 4 players up, that's a huge advantage. They also have, if you look at the minimap right now in the bottom right, they're controlling half of the circle more or less.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's right.
So they know, like, all right, the whole north side is free because we came from there and there was no one there. And the new circle pops out now, and they still got 50% of the new circle as well.
It's absolutely insane, man. Like, I love that because they've maintained such a strong presence, they're forcing the other remaining players to play it so passive and so defensively. But oh, nice shot from Maxisor. He's going to drop silence with that K98 straight to the face. And immediately you can see here, Snoopy's going to try to push around on the east-end side. This is, again, similar to what we saw there on Miramar on game number 1 of last week, right? You pick off the one guy on the fringe, and then you can start wide flanking. This is what they're going to be doing right now. Snoopy's going to lead the charge. Silence gets taken out by a really well-placed grenade. He's looking for those heads, but he's not going to find them. Remember that we still have that player from Unique Play with me who's down low on the far southwest, who could chime in at any moment here. But for now, he's on random friends. Snoopy backing off a little bit right now, going in towards the center. But you can see right now, these 2 players closest to him, they are going to be moving over towards his position for a moment there.
KitKat actually lost a little bit of the control of the circle here. And Random Friends is actually making a move right now. They want to take control of the circle as well. They're like, hey, this is our circle now. You go backwards because we're going to take over here. And they got the ridge as well, so they can play the ridge to actually get up safely towards them.
I am the captain now.
But look at KitKat. They got a wide spread here, which means that if any of them goes down, it's going to be hard to get them up. But at the same time, it's going to be hard for the other teams to actually know, all right, where are the other players?
What you're doing essentially is you're trading the ability to revive your teammates for map control.
Yeah.
Which at this stage I actually think is much better because you're so close. There's no time to actually pick up your teammates. Like that's 9 out of 10 times you're not going to be able to.
But that's not the only reason why you want to be close, because when you're close, you can actually trade. If someone gets knocked, you can go quick up and just trade him, not the guy.
That's a good point. But for this one, I actually like what KitKat are doing a little bit more.
They're just proning right now, though. We see Random Friends actually standing up. They're trying to take position and actually control the circle, except for Snoopy, though.
Yeah, but I think...
But he's just holding up there.
I think he's kind of acting as the anchor.
Yeah, and then we have Play With Me from Unique up there. He's just chilling. We're down to the last circle here, actually.
Yeah, so it is going to be closing.
And Random Friends have the advantage right now because they're closest to the center where the circle will close down to.
And that'll force the other players from KitKat, of course, to start moving in. And like when they have to get up and start running, that's when someone like Snoopy, who's down prone, can get essentially a free kill.
So what they're doing right now, Random Friends, is they're having Snoopy as a spoiler. And he's just going to be laying there, not making any sound. They're going to make the other teammates from Random Friends take the first engagement. And then Snoopy can actually just jump on the guys that are shooting at them.
I mean, they could even use him as like a bit of a dud, right? Where he just waits, takes like 1 tick of damage from the zone, or plays it really close, and then he allows the guys from KitKat to move past him. That could also happen, but we'll see. I mean, I feel as if they should be aware of the fact that they are down there on the other half. But he needs to be careful because he's exposing himself to the players from KitKat, and he gets punished for it immediately. Now Unique goes down. Maxisol gets dropped as well, so that's Unique out in third place. Pardon me. But now it's down to a 2v3. Can they do it? Snoopy's going to drop Zerong immediately. He equalizes, but a great shot comes in from Young Sunny once more. And it's now all in the hands of Snoopy. Pops out his head, but he gets tagged immediately. And there it is. Young Sunny is going to pick up the final kill together with Recording. 16 kills is what they pick up here for game number 1.
16 kills. Do you know how many points that is?
How many points is that?
256.
250. So 656 points in one game.
That's a lot. And that's the good start you want to have. You can snowball on that one. And if you do bad on 1 or 2 games, it doesn't matter because you already got the points from the first game. Meaning that you're pretty safe for this week almost, just from this game.
That's nutty, man.
Yeah. And KitKat, I talked about them. KitKat and QBF. Yeah, we should keep an eye on them. And you saw there.
I mean, you called it, man.
16 kills.
You're like an oracle. Because I remember overhearing like a conversation of some of the other guys, and it was like Demon, and I was like, "You called it about this thing like in
season 2 finals."
Yeah, exactly. And then exactly that happened. So
here we got some highlights from the first game here. A lot of people getting run over in this game, actually. More than what we usually see.
Yeah. The Swarm guys, you know, moving up from the Bravo division of last week, they actually had a pretty big impact.
Yeah, they did.
Early on in the round, like this, you know, this moment right here where fours were in such a good position, and they just get absolutely smashed.
Yeah. Here's the nade rain coming in. Poor Bulldog, just eating all those nades.
A couple of moments here where, you know, it's these rotations, as you called it a little bit earlier on, right? Oh, wait, never mind. We just have to look at this. Young Sandy, man, like with this M24, did so much damage. He knocked him like
and look at that.
2 or 3 times.
That's a good spray there. Instant headshot.
Super sick.
Vanguard, actually, as we saw it, they went out on 4th place. We talked about them before. Looks like they want to show up now, coming in on 4th place. I mean,
it's interesting, right? Because we were looking at it and we say, you know, they've got a really good position. It's going to be hard for Unique to push straight in.
Yeah.
Or to push them. But they get send 2 guys right in and leave the other 2 behind. The 2 behind get taken out eventually by a 3rd party as well because they were getting flanked.
Yeah.
But the guys up front, they managed to clean them out and they force the remaining player from Avantgarde to retreat north. And then he gets killed by another team who spots him out. And then that's Avantgarde going out, obviously.
Yeah. And we had Random Friends and Unique in the end there. The 2 teams that ended up on 1st and 2nd place after last week's games. Not surprising to see them up there. Seems like they're here to stay. They're here to show. They're showing us that, hey, we're one of the best teams in CIS right now.
I mean, already in the overall standings, if you look at how many points they got over last week, and this 2nd place in the first map, you know, you already essentially secured your spot in Alpha for this week.
Yeah.
Unless you get 2 games. Or 3 games back to get back where you get 0 points, but they're never going to get 0 points. Let's be real.
Let's hope not. I think they're hoping for not that to happen as well.
Yeah. Well, guys, we're going to throw it over to a quick break, and then after that, we will come back with a 2nd game on Erangel, so stay tuned. welcome back, guys. We just concluded game number 1, and well, we've replaced Froz with another man, a very handsome man. Welcome to the desk.
Thank you. I'm glad you went with handsome at least. I'm going to say a more uglier man or something like that.
No, like, see, I like the beard thing because I can't grow one, on my own, right? So whenever I meet a bearded character, I'm like, oh man, you're really handsome, all the time.
Bearded character.
Bearded character.
I'll take that. How's things? You all right?
Yeah, man, having a really good time thus far. Game number 1 was a little bit slow to start. We did see the Swarm and a couple of guys who made it up from last week, have a little, cause some ripples in the pond, but then towards the very end was really action-packed, and I'm really sort of blown away by the fact that Froz predicted that KitKat were going to be a team that were going to be doing well, and they're going with 16 kills and win the whole thing. I
mean, he's got to be good at something, right? We have to give him. He's terrible at driving and terrible at playing, and that's why he's retired now. So he has to be good at something, at least. So that's why we've got him here. He's the colour at the end of the day. But yeah, like you say, it's always good to see a big number kill. For me, it's quite exciting to see how the CIS region's progressing as such. I mean, when you look towards GLL as 2 LAN events, CIS region, we've got 2 CIS winners so far. We're now into the 3rd season now. The question is, could we potentially see another CIS team win it? It's, I think it's a bit of a breeding ground, if I'm honest. Because I remember probably before Season 1, when PUBG was all kicking off and all starting up as such, people were like, oh, these are cheating, they're cheating, these are cheating. It's just like, as soon as you see someone doing really well, it's like, they're cheating instantly. Yeah. But they're not. Once they start going to LAN events, once we've started seeing them compete, once we've started seeing them get into these seasons, they're highly aggressive players, and some of them, they're damn good. And now we're going to see there's a little bit of a turmoil with all. We kind of expected Rostermania. I think that's more than fair to say.
Absolutely.
I think it's been probably coming for a while now for PUBG. It's entering that stage of its life where it's time to shake things up, and that's just across the board, like Europe as a whole, CIS, right. America. You always get it with news scenes emerging and how things kind of transfer and stuff. You always expect it to happen. So, again, I think generally speaking, it does get a little bit harder for teams that are left down a little bit because the pickings become a bit thin. Players get picked up, good talent as such, then you got to do.
Yeah, exactly. And then the pool of the top tier players is obviously not going to be there anymore, so you have to start picking from the second and third tier, and then.
But the one thing to it is that I think the skill gap raises. Because then your barrier at the top gets really, really good and really heavy.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, the skill right now we're sort of, the skill ceiling is just going up right now. The sky's the limit. So we'll see where it is in a year or two. It's going to be really interesting, right?
A lot of fun.
But yeah, guys, let's take a look at the standings, of course, in conclusion of game number 1. Like we said, was 656 points in total there for KitKat, who have an absolutely explosive start. As you can see, 2nd place, Random Friends. That's not a bad finish per se, but look at the difference in points.
Yeah, there's a massive drop-off, and again, that all comes down to the kills, and this is now with I want to call it a united point system. We've seen, I think it's 4 TOs now that have all jumped on the bandwagon and said, okay, we'll start using this point scoring system. But I think it's really good, and I think between the 2 divisions, obviously being the Bravo division being half of this, I think it works super, super well. But as you can see from that, I mean, the proof's in the pudding, right? 16 kills is going to get you jumps and points. When the 16 apiece, every single one of them matters. If you're one of these guys that can just start stealing at range, using a sniper rifle, picking faces left, right, and center, you're just going to steamroll your team up to those higher rankings. It's pretty cool.
I mean, that's what we saw before the final 2 or 3 circles came in. They were always staying very active. They were moving around a lot. They were sort of maintaining this square formation, if you were looking at the minimap a little bit, where one guy, maybe towards the southwest, sees 2 other teams fighting, and he just picks off one guy who's been knocked out.
Yeah.
And then he just retreats back off to not, draw too much attention. And doing stuff like that, on repeat, seemingly, as you can see, 16 kills. That's a lot of points. They were essentially good. Double the amount of points that the guys in Random Friends have. So with that, coming into game number 2 shortly, as we just get, allowing people some time to get ready for that one.
I believe we actually saw a 16 kill game last week, didn't we, from an Octave's new roster, Random Friends. I think they got from one.
I think that was their 2nd Miramar game, 1st or 2nd, because they had nothing in the first 2 Erangel maps, right? 1 kill, and then they end coming in 1st place with 24, I think, was the final kill tally for them. After those 2, so they got 11 and 12, something like that. Was it even more, maybe?
I think that's one thing that I found quite weird about CIS teams as well, how they can go from complete polar opposite ends to having a really quiet game, not doing too much, some of them getting battered. I mean, time and time again we watch, I think it was Avanga just getting decimated, have a better word, on rotation, over and over again. They come last, and then all of a sudden they come first, and they'd have 16 to 20 kills in the bag. It's what a night and day scenario, and people can sit there and say, oh, it's all circle luck, and you can sit there and say that as much as you like, but the better teams are always the one that can react to where the circle's at. That kind of, for me, is at the moment, not the skill gap as such, but certainly from being a very good team to being an excellent tier 1 team, being able to react to those circles and where they're going to be falling. You can never predict where they're going to go, right?
Exactly.
But you can at least kind of edge your bets to give yourself a better advantage to know, okay, well, I'm in this position. If it does hard shift, then we've got a nice line of sight there. And I think as well, bigger picture-wise, they're going away. They're looking at where people usually land, where they usually rotate.
Where can we expect opposition and stuff
Homework.
like that? Yeah.
All comes down to homework.
But then, of course, it's also really important to, as a collective, have that decision-making, make sure that whoever's calling is very decisive. One thing that I've experienced playing in team games as well, and I'm sure this is something that, especially for some of the guys maybe in the lower division, in the Bravo division, can struggle with from, a certain point, is where the caller says, okay, let's go here, but then maybe someone else chimes in a little bit, like, no, maybe we should head, more to the east. Stuff like that, you have to be really decisive. But nonetheless, here we are now coming in, and this time, we are going to be coming in from the far west with... what's that going to be? Like a 180 heading, slightly southeast. It
opens up, a fair amount of the map. Anyone that wants to move towards Yasnaya, no one, generally speaking, plays off the back of Stalba. We always have teams that like to go and play around Severny. With it being CIS, I'm still intrigued to see where people drop. I'm not 100% set on, where people are going to be locked. I'll kind of lead that down to you if you know where these guys like to land, if they're all going home base, if there's any kind of new territory, so to speak. But one thing that I do like, it's nice to see another team picking up military base, because I know we used to see Rogue going there all the time. We saw Alliance kind of bobbing. I think it was Alliance who bobbed in and out of there a few times. I could be wrong there, because I know they sometimes do Severny as well. But yeah, we used to see Rogue going down there, and things didn't kind of play out for that roster. They ended up separating as such. As if I've actually potentially jinxed that.
Can't believe it, man. I think this is the very first time I've ever seen a zone that covers all of Sosnovka Island.
Wow. All right. Well, there you go then. Nice.
Yeah, I mean... But as you say, we have a couple of teams who like dropping over towards Georgia. As you can see there, we've got 3 teams actually, and then a 4th TE battle all the way up there over towards Zaki. Na'Vi, of course, like always, they head towards Pachinki. Pachinki is my city. It's no joke over there at Na'Vi HQ.
When did they move from Prim? Because they used to be a Prim team, did they not?
So for me, jumping into this one now, the CIS GLL stuff, this is like my second time with these guys. Otherwise, I was sort of like I was the backup.
So this one more like that's a shot and a half.
Wait, what is that with the... That's with the Scar. He knocks one already. Oh, my God.
That's a banger. What's
that? 250, 300 meters for sure.
I mean, the cavalry might be, we can't tell. They might be too far. I think he's done and dusted. That's a shot and a half, is that?
Oh, my God.
What are we, 1, 2, 3, 300 meters? All right.
Okay, that's first blood.
See you later, dude. Rest in peace.
That was random friends picking up that one.
Random shot, I've got to say. So you're talking about where people like to go as such. So this is more like their CIS drop, so to speak?
Like, from what I can tell, it looks like it. It's sort of like their home base. Even in last week, we did see another team drop with them simultaneously, but they very quickly forced them out of Pachinki because I think they just want to keep this area to themselves, because it's obviously very good to have a lot of loot points. You can make sure that you get everything you need. But, now, with this circle, I'm actually thinking, right, because... As you can see, a lot of these teams are fanning out to what would be their regular loot spots. Where you can see 4s up there in... I can't actually see what it's... Severny, sorry. And we've seen them go there a couple of times, but what my question is to you now here, Sims, is these rotations are going to be coming in. You don't find a boat, your options are the bridges.
Yeah, I think, don't get me wrong, bridge camping's still a thing. A lot more... I mean, again, this is a CIS region that I don't necessarily not familiar with. You do tend to find that there is quite a lot of respect with players at the higher end. So they either do 2 things. 1, they respect the fact that somebody could be on the bridge and they're not going to be that stupid and just head across it. 2, sometimes teams opt to not set up a bridge camp. All right, we do see it, and we do see a nice little bit of BM. I'm all for it. If you want to go camp a bridge, be my guest. But again, you're playing the odds, because if that circle shifts away from you, you're going to be on the bridge. People are going to be set up for the camp inside Sosnovka, because then you're on the back foot. You're then working your way in from the edge.
Yeah.
It's all right. You might get a team kill. You might get a couple of kills out of it. You might, 16 points a kill. You get 3 or 4 kills. Happy days. Fair play. But what happens when that circle shifts, moves away from the bridges, and you're on the back foot, then you have to follow the blue in. Everyone else is ahead of the game, already just laying down, waiting for you.
That's true. So the tables turn, you can say.
Exactly. So this is where it kind of comes down to your IGL. What does he say? Does he think, okay, well, let's go do it. Maybe this is worth the points. Maybe it does kind of look like it's going to go potentially in our favour. The initial scout will go forward in the point of Rizzle, so he'll be over there for his team. But here comes the cavalry and the rest of Na'Vi.
Yeah, and Bulldog is ready, man. He's got a lot of ammo as well. Going to initiate the spray. Connects a little bit of lead with him. Actually, takes him down to about half HP. The rest of the team slightly delayed. You can see Kippy moving in as well.
He hits in then. That's another banger of a shot. You just see blood in the distance.
He gets out of there anyway. So, I mean, that's obviously good, but he could be running into Unique, who've taken control of the military base themselves.
So you kind of got the information of how this thing plays out then. So he goes forward. He's the peace offering, so to speak. He's the scout. You can afford to lose one, but you can't afford to lose one player. But rather than lose an entire team, you send one forward. He's now said, okay, there's someone on the bridge. So the rest of Na'Vi, they'll say, all right, boys, it's time to back off here. So they'll do two things. Either one, with those cliffs, you can absolutely run the vehicles off the edge of the cliff and try and get a bit further into water and then swim for it. Or, more likely option for these guys, because it's early game, go for the boat. Sometimes, again, the boats are an option, like you said. So try and get the closest choke point you possibly can between the two islands, the closest gap of the water, and just run it straight off of those cliffs, get in, and then get swimming for your life, because at the end of the day, this blue, it's not going to really hurt, but the fact that you can't heal in water, and once you get out of the water, you're already damaged. If anyone's on the beach, it just turns into a massacre.
An opposed landing, I mean, that's something you never want to face, right?
There's going to be people waiting there, especially, and then you become pickings for the seagulls. I want to say, like you'll see, I
mean, the guys in the back as well. You know, who are late.
If they've got any Kar 98s or just scopes between them, even just an M16 with a 4x
or a Scar, if you're.
Oh well, yeah. If you want to play.
If you're
play
Snoopy,
that game.
I mean, he's taking shots at the guys over in the water as well. You can see right there, spots them out. But I like these early rotations, actually, grabbing these boats when you can. Well, they're still an option, because this allows you to set up shop quite early on, and then you don't need to worry that much about anyone in the backlines, right? Like you were talking about, you know, if you decide to set up that bridge camp, because now you're going to be early in, and then you should, for all intents and purposes, be the ones the furthest into the island, maybe except for Unique, but there's kind of pulling it.
There'll be a fair few late stragglers up in the distance. You can see Na'Vi are just currently...
They're looking for boats, man.
They're looking for boats, anything. And they're also trying to probably have a little conversation of what's the best alternative for them here. I mean, you do have the, was it the Aquarail, is it? I can't remember. I can never remember the name of it. You go with jet ski. We'll call it what it is.
Aquarail.
I'm sure it's Aqua something or other. It might be. I don't know. Anyway, jet ski, we'll go with that. He's actually got information. There's going to be two of them, so shots will be initial fired.
Oh, well, you took fire from someone there immediately as well. I think that's actually from the houses. I think that's Na'Vi.
That's a good response.
This is really... I like this, that they have a man covering them as they make the crossing. But, you know, with this now, are they going to start, like, ferrying them over one by one? Seems a little bit risky.
The old pun, isn't it, where you have the egg and the chicken and the fox. How do you get them across the bridge? If you've ever looked at that one. I might just be showing me age here, how that one's going to work out. But either way, the question is, one, did they leave him behind to be the scout, to be the cover if they needed it? Or two, if there's left because they simply just don't have the vehicles to actually take him across. You can see three gentlemen in the middle. They have, or potentially even four, have just ditched that one. Looks like they took the vehicle option, what I mentioned earlier on, and they'll be playing water walking. Still a team up in Severny. They'll be playing it late game. You'd expect the boys over on the west coast to have plenty, absolutely plenty of vehicles. So they'll probably swim this one in through the boats, take it down the western coast and maybe come up at the bottom. Really take it down south of Sosnovka, which is an option. And no one's actually there. There's one team just teetering off to the southeast, but they shouldn't be a problem. There's also a drop there as well. I wouldn't have expected anybody to be actually going for that because it's completely out of the way. I'm just seeing if anyone's actually going to have eyes on those dudes. I think they're going to have a free beach, which is pretty lucky, unless a team does pull up on the cliff edge and sees them getting out of the water, and then there could be a problem.
I mean, we could have the guys from Windside just show up now, because maybe they're trying to go for the same thing and then they spot them out. You can see Shade as well. He's actually scouting the entire length of the beach right there, so he's going to see them pop out for sure, unless he turns his back like you just saw there on the minimap, which would be very unfortunate.
We do have a bridge camp set up, I believe, also on this bridge we're looking at now. I believe one player's at the bottom there. It's only one, but still one player can do enough damage to a vehicle. I think he's just scouting
for now. I mean, like one man.
The rest of his team are actually on Sosnovka chilling. He won't show his face whatsoever. The M16 is there. It's not a fully automatic, but it'll still do enough with the rest of the burst, and it also might give the dinner bell, so to speak, for the rest of his teammates behind him.
Oh, here we go.
Here they come. We'll see what he can do.
Steps out. He's going to try. Oh, he immediately gets tagged up, but he hits the driver once at least, but he's not going to be able to land any more connecting shots. Now he's under a little bit of pressure himself, of course. We're taking so much damage. I'm not sure if that was from down the bridge or there was someone.
Oh my God.
Sani, again with the M24. I mean, like we saw in the last game, was absolutely brutal.
Wait, that was a Kar 98. So did his teammate hit him as we moved across?
What?
That was a Kar 98 shot. They must have both tagged him at the same time.
Oh my god, that's nutty, man. Dude, KitKat, just already really sick shots. And with that, I mean, they've made the crossing now, but you can see the rest of the team from TE Storm, they are on the rotation in. So we could indeed have a confrontation right now. Yeah, you can hear right there. Someone's getting hit. That's Recording taking a little bit of damage. Yubica as well, though. He needs to be very careful because obviously the guys in KitKat, as we've seen, really good at landing those shots.
Yeah, it's a bit of punishment. You shoot at our boys, we'll shoot back. It's kind of one of those things, you know, you poke the bear, you get the claws. Initially gets the bullets, but the player does get through with it, as you mentioned earlier on. KitKat over here just taking a peek. Oh, he's still got the information. They could be lurking around there. They'll pull back, which is fair play. This circle, when it constricts, I'm intrigued to see whereabouts it goes and what it does. You'd expect it to kind of generally keep a lot of islanding. You don't tend to see too much water. Hopefully I'm not jinxing that one. AUG.
You jinxed it once already, man.
I know, I've already gone for Millie anyway. It came up trumps, fair play for that one. Level $3 across the board, AUG, happy days for him. The AUG, I mean, it's a nasty, nasty gun. All right, it's only 5.56, but have you seen the spray patterns of that thing? Like, the jump on it is next to nothing. You can literally just start on the chest and it just works it up to the head and goes no further. That thing is an absolute drill. So I'm still all for using it. I'm a big lover of 7.62. I will say that.
Likewise. Good man. A man of culture you are.
I like my AKMs. I even like my M7. I also like the Mutant as well. The Mutant's an absolute devastating bad boy weapon. Are they in play on this server? I'm not too sure I've seen any.
We saw them last week, but I'm not sure
if
we've got them for this one. I mean, I feel as we should, but nonetheless. Here on the west side, though, we have a huge concentration of teams, and you can see now where the somewhat late crossing fours are going to be brute forcing their way in, but the question is, will they survive? Because we have so many teams that they have to run through. It's like a gauntlet. You've got Windside on the town just on the right-hand side of the bridge, and they continue down the road. Even if they try to veer off on towards the west, you've got two more teams waiting for them right there. And you can see that, I think that they've sent one man forward. Wait, okay, never mind. It's actually, they haven't made the crossing just yet. I was sort of concerned there for a moment. But it is going to be a tall order for them nonetheless to get out of this one alive for sure. Without at least losing one or two.
I like the term dungeon because you will be having a final boss right in the middle next door to the garage.
Ooh, did he just try to block him with that vehicle?
I like it. It's good effort.
Brake check him.
Ram him off the road. I played with Fuzz the other day, and I'm sure there was someone at start. He just rammed him straight off the road. He said, right, I'm off for it, boys. Bang. Rams him off the road, gets him. It's good to see, and a little honk full of as well on the way by. But as I'm saying, the guys that are over by the garage at the moment is the primary. It's almost direct centre of the circle. You'd assume that it will now shift away from water, and it'll keep them in. And this is where everyone starts to hard rotate, and we've got such a high density and concentration of players. Pokemolodoy, unfortunately, will fall down. His teammate might fall victim in the back lines. They're going to go with that one. Easy peasy, 16 points in the bag there. Smokey. Nice kill straight off the 16 spray down as well. And you can see the circle in the back as everyone just starts to rotate in. Again, this blue, it will damage not a massive amount. Snoopy just waiting for this vehicle. It's going to go slow up the hill. Unfortunately, this is what we will be seeing a fair amount, just individual players. It's good that they're not, fully concentrated and fully loaded vehicles at this point, because then we would see teams dropping heavily in succession.
I mean, we did see that a little bit last week already. So, if they didn't learn their lesson by then, you're definitely going to be enjoying your long-term stay in Bravo Division for sure. Na'Vi have survived, though, but they've got a pretty weak crossing at the same time. The Swarm, remember, they lost the first man there to Snoopy with that excellent scar shot, 350 yards or so.
I'd be heavily triggered by that. I won't lie. If that happened to me straight off the drop.
So annoying. The first shot must have been a headshot as well, because he wasn't wearing anything, right? So it just goes down immediately.
Well, that's the problem when it gets to those engagements. It's not the fact of, it's not more of finding a weapon, because you're not really going to take fights at that level. It's more about
you would think, right?
You would think. It's more about being able to survive it. And if you don't have anything on, I mean, it's 250 damage percent multiplier on face. I think it's 100% on chest. If you don't have anything, you're just going to take the full blunt of any kind of bullet. Those are just in battling. That's a headshot for him. Nice headache in the background. That's a Kar 98.
They're trying to body block. They're waiting for the smoke, but
it's a good attempt.
Yeah, A for effort, I guess. But, you know, I wanted to say that, right? Na'Vi, they survived the crossing initially, but now they're in a really poor position. They've got all of these hills just due south, it's really easy for them to look down on them. They've got another team here on the west. You can see that we're engaging them. So for Na'Vi, like, to get out of that one, I don't know, man. That's going to be really tough for them. On the other side of things, this entire south end of the island is actually pretty good. You've got, like, long, wide open ranges. So you've got a scoped rifle. It's time to go to town. And then as well, if anyone manages to get in too close, there's still a lot of open ground. So there's not too much concealment, really, if you want to advance on any of these teams who have set up shop in these compounds.
There's literally only one compound left. But again, at this kind of stage in the game, you'd have to, as a pro player, assume it's taken. So I won't be driving directly to any of them. As well, when it comes to vehicles, you did say there's a lot of open ground in between there. So you take your chances here. You look at the circle, you look what weapons, you look what gear you got. Are you going to use vehicles to rotate to the next one, or are you going to walk it? If you're using vehicles, remember, you're walking around with just a big bell on your head. You're telling everyone where you're going. Everyone can hear. People are going to be looking your way. If you're walking, if you're on foot, all right, you don't have that level of noise, but you don't have really any cover. And if people are really good snipers, which we've seen from the CIS, we have some very, very nasty snipers, and they'll happily pick your face at range. You got to pick your poison. What's the options available in front of you? And again, you were talking about the IGL, about the coaches. This is where they come in. This is where their important task is. Where do we go next, and how do we get to it? Speaking of sneaky, two little guys just hiding around the corner. Unfortunately, might be getting overwhelmed anytime soon because they're outside the circle and they have to move in. Oh. And there we have it.
Random friends knocking out the remainder of the swarm. Ionest gone. Mikhailovic is there as well. Maxis was still loitering outside of the blue. I kind of like this because, as you say, again, you're not taking too much damage, and then you can use this to, you know, sort of catch your opponent from an angle they're not necessarily expecting you to take the shot from, which evidently happened right there. Now, Mikhailovic is going to be playing for placement, and I like this spread, though, from Random Friends. You can see that they're covering a lot of ground like this.
You can see why as well, because they are pretty close to the circle, which the way that it's gone, oh, that's a tire gone. That vehicle's off for a quick flight.
Oh, and look at this. Sending him flying like that, he has no way to get out of this one, so he's getting lit up by another team chiming in slightly more to the northwest. But at the same time, we've got this team set up now. Unique, they've got a very good position among these houses. The only real threat point would be this hill towards their west. But that would only be if they expose themselves.
This circle's awful. Look at all that water. There is absolutely no ground whatsoever to support 16 teams. We'll expect to see 2 or 3 of them drop in the next rotation. I like what Na'Vi are doing. They're going to go to the cliff edge. That's prime position, but he doesn't make it. He will go down. Melman just catches him back of the head. Can Shade stay alive? Is he the last player for Na'Vi, or they got another one besides that?
No, I think it's the last man standing.
He's smashed to bits, though.
Oh, I like this pushing as well.
Is he going for it?
Yeah, he's going to go straight for it. And Shade is healing right now, and if he peeks up over this... he's going to try, but no. Kamka's there in support of his teammate. Really sick. They cut them down.
More importantly, they take their position. That's prime position now. Because 1, you're dead center of the map, and 2, nobody can shoot you from behind. The rocks are an absolutely fantastic position in this level of circle. They don't have to worry about anybody coming from below them because you can't climb up those hills. I don't believe where they specifically are. And now all they have to do is look forward. They got cover. They have time. And now they can just watch everybody just beat the living hell out of one another because they're in a good spot. They don't have to do anything, but everyone else has to get inside the circle. And you're going to see these constant engagements, these constant battles, because it's just a fight, not only for survival, but for a matter of trying to find a decent place to sit for 10 minutes because there's no breathing room. You don't have many dips and divots around this kind of area of the map, so it's going to be a pain in the back if you don't have a building.
Yeah, that's a really good point, actually. I think out of all positions that you could have gotten at this stage, this is probably one of the worst, one of the hardest ones to work with, really. Like, I mean, right now, for most of these teams, as the circle is going to be shrinking in, the floor is going to be lava, right? Because wherever you stand, you're going to be exposed. So there's, for the guys who already have position, like you say, we've got 2 teams actually set up on the rocks. They're in prime position. But at the same time now, Random Friends, they're going to be trying to go for this bust, potentially. They were thinking about it there for a moment, but I guess they heard more fire coming in, so instead they're just going to try to run for it, cross over towards this beach. But I'm worried now because, remember, we still have a team loitering right there that could spot them easily. So this rotation is going to be somewhat awkward. Maxis is going to lead with the vehicle, but he actually jumps on out. So maybe he's going to try to look for some of these kills, put some pressure on them. There we have the mutant, by the way, so it is indeed here. Oof, good shot there from Konstantin.
It's an absolutely banger of a weapon. 7.62, single fire or 2 tap. Have it what you like. It's so accurate at range. It's so incredible just being able to fire 7.62 like that. If you're not good at sniping, you want to get a decent long-range gun, it's as good as having a 16. Now, going back to this fight and Random Friends, they're sitting happy because everybody has to come out of this compound. They're not inside the circle, and the next turn, it'll start to begin to hurt. Unfortunately, somebody might have their number, and they might be out in the open a little bit too much because they are very exposed. They'll try and at least pop shot and be a bit of a nuisance in the back lines, which might be a bit of a breathing room for the people inside the compound to evacuate and get out. But again, out of the fire, out of the frying pan and into the fire could be the issue here, because as soon as you eject yourself from that building, you're going to have to take the onslaught. There is like one little brick wall with the like the little water tower in the middle. They might be able to play off the back of it, but still,
I mean, the zone is
really,
gonna move.
what can you do?
Like, the zone is going to keep moving, so they will eventually be forced out of that position. Now it's not even in play. And I really like this because you saw one player there from Free Agents looking over towards the buildings, right? See if they could spot any one of these guys. And then the other two engaging the players from Random Friends. And now Azrin has moved in over towards that wall you were talking about, right? Konstantin still loitering inside of the zone. He's the last player for M19. So it is going to be playing for placement. Does in fact have a car, so there's a few options, but nonetheless, I mean, it's going to be super tough because, again, as you mentioned already, it's like a dinner bell ringing, right?
Yep.
Everyone's going to turn their attention towards the vehicle and light them up. Now, Random Friends have managed to get out to dodge for now, but their respite is very temporary.
Well, that's the water tower we're talking about. Literally, as you can see, he's just hiding behind it. That's the only bit of respite he's going to get because, in 26 seconds, you got to move.
Yeah.
You have to move fast. Another headshot in the kill feed. That's an M24 onto Zoltas, unfortunately. Oh, he stepped up at the wrong. He turned away at the wrong time. That's rather unfortunate. And while that's happened in the back lines, that final member of M19's done one.
Actually, that allowed him to get out of there. Because these were the players holding him down, essentially.
Oh, he ran into another team, though. He's dead. I wondered, I was looking in the background. He ran straight into another team. That's unfortunate. I mean, it was a good effort. He could see what he was doing. He was going through his teammates' bodies. He was taking their stims. He was just getting stimmed up. He grabbed the vehicle. He got out of dodge, but unfortunately just got battered on arrival, really. There's no other way to talk about it, but we are down to 12 teams, 41 individual players alive. It's getting really messy. There's not a lot of room whatsoever.
Yeah, like what little space there is going to be fought over very hard and very bitterly. Now we'll see huge potential. They did chime in there a little bit, pick off a couple of these players in rotation. At the same time, drops another one. That smash from Force dropped. He's even going to get KIA'd immediately. Apple putting on some pretty accurate fire there as the remainder of Force are trying to go for this rotation. They've only got P6 left, but he's getting tagged up right there behind that tree. And I think that's the only friend he's got left in the world, and he's going to go down as well. So that's already 6 kills on the board here for huge potential. Really starting to show their true colors here in game number 2.
Nice cheeky steal as well. It was another player with an M24 that did knock him down. But again, another thing that becomes a problem here is I think it was his teammate that we saw earlier on. There's been so many engagements now. The vehicles are battered. They're all said and done. There's not really you can do with them. Again, at this stage of the game, you won't be driving around anywhere. More importantly, it's how much gear do you have left? Everyone's been battered. They've been hurt. Helmets are gone. I've seen
all of that stuff. I mean, like we saw at the very, by the 3rd or 4th circle, Na'Vi, if you remember that in the first game on their rotation, 2 of those guys didn't even have vests at that stage.
With that level, like, you've got no chance, especially in final circles. Somebody just pokes behind a tree. If you've got no helmet, it's just RIP. Literally, if someone just cracks you in the head, you've got nothing to survive. You are instantly going down. And if someone with a sniper rifle, even if you do have a level 2 helmet, it ain't going to mean anything because it's still going to put you on your backside. If you don't have a chest on, though, and a vest, people can just tag for the body now. They don't have to go for these headshots. They can just go for the bodies and try and pick people off. It could be easy pickings as well, because remember, if these are the last players alive, this is an easy 16 points. It's an instant kill.
Free Agent still here, though. You could see that they managed to drop Snoopy. I think he went down there immediately, so that's another team gone. That's Random Friends taken out. Another team that was sort of pinning my hopes on, but nonetheless wasn't meant to be. They go down. Greenhawk has got his eyes on to Best Lock as well. He's keeping him locked in. You can even see the other 2 team members that he's got looking over that way. But Free Agents now, they've still maintained a presence on this ridgeline, whereas the other 2 are going to be maneuvering a little bit. And, I mean, it's giving them a lot of map control, but I think this is a little bit of a risky move because they could potentially start taking fire from the teams up north. There's 2 of them, in fact, that could have clear lines of sight.
We need to now appreciate how valuable it was to push Na'Vi earlier on. I'm not entirely sure which team this is, just hiding down on the rock side. But they pushed Na'Vi, they killed him, eliminated him, and they took their position. Now, we're moving into this circle. they're still there. They're still happy.
Yeah,
They've still got a
and
little
look at
bit
the
of room
split as well. They've got the other two players there ready to grab anyone who are going to try to come in on this sharp end of the circle as well.
Anybody who wants to try and kind of run edge if they want to. Obviously, no one can shoot them from behind. That's easy because of the water. But they're locking off 200 meters between them. That's massive. In this level of circle, to be able to lock this down, it's incredible. Everyone else is going to try and make something of it, but they're just going to play border patrol and say, no, boys, you're not coming in. And unfortunately, just open fire on them. And again, it's easy points because people are going to be running in the open. You should be able to just batter them. With the blue on your back, there's only one way to go, and that's forward.
Yeah, and especially so when you have these teams already duking it out between one another. Melman right there gets dropped, but one of the players from Windside, as you can see, that they're trying to make their way out. TE battle, 2 men left standing. They do, in fact, have a vehicle, so one of them is going to grab it. I think, yeah, that's Tok who's going to be rolling on in. Now, the question is, Windside, because the majority of them are still stuck here behind this rock, they can't actually go in for this kill, which obviously is good for them. But as you say, the danger now is going to be the players here from, can't actually tell who it is. I think it's X5 Frag, the guys who have set up shop there who killed off Nabi.
Personally, for me, I think they should have pushed that. I think they shouldn't have let him get the health back or get him the res. Just should have gone in. Vehicle goes up in front of us. D's from it. Actually crack him then and push him down. I think we're trying to... Oh, okay.
Oh, play with me. What a turnaround. He 180s, smashes him, and then goes back to the other firefight. That's brutal.
It was a great idea, and I think it actually played out. He was moving with the vehicle. He was keeping himself covered. And between them, they've taken down 2 members and a Vanga. Now it's only Mumino who's left in the backline to kind of watch this one unfold. Melman steps up. Is these the ones that were allowed to survive earlier on? They didn't advance on them because they were all throwing grenades at them, and in doing so, they've come back from the dead and battered them. This is what I mean. They should have moved up. They should have eliminated them, took them out of the competition, and then give themselves a bit of range. You might have had one player playing out of the back foot in the bushes, which is why maybe they didn't push up and advance on them. But by allowing this team to stay alive, it's come to bite them in the backside.
Oh, it certainly has. They've got one player still left. It's Compot who's hiding out in the smoke, but he's going to start taking damage from the zone now. Melman really needs to leg it, but I love this. X5 Frag, they've reconsolidated now, and they've taken these 2 players who were playing on the fringe and just moved them a little bit closer to the main group who are locked up there still on that little ledge. They've got such a strong position still. They still don't need to move. We have a lot of players who are going to be making their way into their sites shortly, especially some of the guys from up north. They're going to be making their way down south as well.
I think he's out-healed the team that was in front of him.
Look, now he's getting absolutely hammered.
At least it's one placement, right? He survived one more placement than the green team that were next to him. He goes down, and now we're into lucky number 7. Certain Turtle's going to be playing on the edge, just getting inside the shells and praying the circle kind of goes their way, but it hasn't. It's still shifting towards the rocks. I can't believe they're still inside. This is incredible. I mean, okay, we can keep 100 meters here at this rock side, but still being able to have the line of sight on all of the cliff edge, unless this team, Silver, just over on the eastern side can sneak in. Was that a headshot?
The first one was. Second one wasn't, but it's Yang Sani again, man, with that M24.
Go on, near him. This would be a Kobe and a half.
Absolute monster with this rifle. But look at how many teams we have north of the circle who need to make a move. And again, the big issue for them is going to be X5 Frag. They're essentially the anchor right now of the entire south side. So anyone who crosses over there, they're all going to be in their lines of sight. It's going to be super brutal for any of these teams who are making this late rotation.
Do it. This could be amazing. Watch skill feed. Got one.
He gets one.
Again, that's even more pressure. Spots. I think he's just copped for someone over on the other side as well.
Yeah, the guys from Unique were taking shots over towards that compound, so his teammates obviously called that right. And now the Kit Kat, they're going to start smashing them. Young Sandy actually turns his attention back over towards Huge Potential, trying to tap away with his 416, but he's not going to find it for now.
No, they're just getting picked apart by 2 separate teams. This is kind of where it becomes a little bit of an issue, and it's for these guys to try and get as many as they can before other people steal them. Unfortunately, it won't be that way. They managed to pick up 1, I think potentially 2 with the grenade as well, and now all of a sudden they can turn their attention to Unique. The walking wounded out in the open field. They're trying to find... I mean, he can sit there, but the blue will get him, to be fair. So he'll still pick up 16 points, at least even in the back lines. It depends if they can get a tag on the guy that is healing up. For them, that'd be another free 16 points. Or you can deny it. You can sit there and say, okay, well, I'm just going to die myself, try and stay alive, try and get myself a placement. We still do have Kamka just chilling in the mist. It probably won't be for long, to be honest with you. He does have to show his face very soon, and Lazy and Shaxy should be able to easily see that one. Unique's still alive, absolutely. No idea how, to be fair. 4 players alive, though, here for free agents. Always good to see these boys going into this kind of level, any team, to be fair, going into like, you know, your final circles where you've got a full team up, it just becomes such a strong unit because then you can afford to start taking, you know, your 2 versus 3. You can afford to try and make something happen. If there's a compound you want, it's like, okay, well, we've got 4. Let's just go for it. Let's flush them. Let's clear them. Let's take control and then decide where we go from then.
Yeah.
So the more bodies you have going into these, and that's why it's all about survival. Again, you can trade. You can move for points. That's what you're playing for at the end of the day. But still, it's so vital, and we see at least a minimum of, so 2 teams, maybe, 3 teams.
Of the full manpower there, and then the 2 solos, that's it. We've got 2 solos.
It's a good fight, this.
Separate teams, and this grenade should find its... it's perfect. There it is. Good grenade there from X5 Frag. Lazy, of course, with that one. And again, they've maintained their position. Now, finally, they will have to move, and this means that free agents going to be able to set up shop here. I think they've got a vehicle too as well that they could use for some hard cover, but nonetheless, I mean, it's mainly open ground. Once you come over that little side of the hill, it's going to be happy hunting here for whoever makes the first, or pardon me, whoever is more patient. Whoever makes the first move is going to be at risk, of course.
Notice this player didn't have a helmet then as well, and this is again where things start to become a danger of earlier and previous fights where your durability's gone, your gear's gone, you ain't got a helmet, unfortunately, so if someone just clips your face, you're going to be dead instantly. They could potentially play spoiler to the yellow team that is still lingering on the cliffs, but I'd expect the fact that they haven't used any smokes, I would expect players of this caliber and at this level to be carrying a ton of smokes because at the end of the day, point blank, it's part of the meta.
At least one of them.
They should do. So they should be able to kind of build a little wall that allows them to get onto the cliffs. They might not. They actually might attack the building if they really want it. We'll see how it kind of progresses. Jet Ski just going for some open fire, see if he can get a dink or 2. Doesn't connect with any of them, unfortunately.
Oh, long-range flashbang. That's ambitious.
I mean, it's a way to keep people back, right? You can just keep people at arm's length. Oh, and here comes the rain of fire, though.
That's a really good grenade from Silence, who picks up one of the guys playing behind that rock. More grenades are raining on in. This is the true artillery, man, that they're bringing to the table.
Is that one going to find him?
Oh,
yeah, it does.
It definitely does. Does a ton of damage.
These boys packing. Good lord.
But it's actually one of the guys from X5 who picks up that kill. That's Rizzle with this Mini 14. And he finds another knock onto Jetski. That's a great shot with the iron sights. Absolute madman. And now he's going to start finding shots over towards the players from KitKat as well.
Just quickly, look at the split between this team, though. 2 have moved up the western bank towards the north, and 2 have stayed here. So you've got the anchor point for the emergency backup, so they can at least keep in cover and try and play it out, while the other team, they lay fire, and they become a nuisance.
So sick,
That's a great split. That's a fantastic split. They're covering 100% of the map here. The only team that can't be seen is this team just to the right-hand side, who's just in a bit of a dead zone.
But they're not even a threat, exactly, as you say, a dead zone, because they don't have an angle. They're covered behind these rocks, and they're continuously advancing along the northern sector here, so they're eventually going to be collapsing straight on top of KitKat, unless KitKat obviously move. Now the question is, how are they going to be doing this one? Because they still have the 2 players from free agents to contend with. So they're going to be running into these brutal crossfires. It's already really solid set up here by X5 Frags, and then you have the 3rd team that could potentially chime on in there.
Yeah, my worries here are free agents. They're the ones who can play spoiler. They might just be inside the zone. And here we go. It's time to step up and lay the mark. Silence has been knocked and finished. That's an insta for him. He's down. 3 teams, 8 individual play. Oh my god, this is amazing. This is a fantastic play.
Oh my god! He holds it down. He's also playing iron sights on the 416, and he gets one immediately. The grenades rain on in as well. Full suppression, and it's all up to this one man now, but they are going for it. They're going to be pushing the issue, man, jumping on top of these rocks, parkouring their way up to victory, potentially.
I think that play's just won them the game, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. There it is. There's the trade. And now, I mean, they've got 1 man knocked out. Okay, they'd lose him, but it's still 3 versus 2, and Young Sandy's under a lot of pressure. Very low on HP. Zarang is crawling towards relative safety. Now, lucky for them, it seems as if X5 are out of grenades at least. So they've got that going for them, but now it's all about landing those shots.
Ooh, saying that, we talked about the numbers game, and honestly, they've kind of just evened the playing field. How the hell are you alive? That's like a slither, an absolute slither of health. We're talking 1 HP there. Sani has just held on, literally held on with his teeth, my god.
Oh, Rizzle as well, super low on HP. But you can see it's Zarang also very low there for a moment, forced to pop that med kit.
Unfortunately, again, iron sights, this is where the scopes come down to it. The lacking of scopes, maybe sitting there for so long and just kind of camping it out is a bit of a rough word, but certainly holding position.
Oh, I love this.
Yeah,
he's covering for his teammate. Sunny's going to try to go for that spray again. We saw it in the first game, was absolutely wild, but no, overextends, and there it is. It is going to be X5 Frags who pick up the victory, but hard fought for sure there by KitKat to come in second place.
Yeah, you can't argue with that. I mean, KitKat, they give as good as they got at the end. There was a very good potential that they could have brought that one back, but Rizzle, that play to just jump over the rocks and hit the team that was next to them from behind was absolutely fantastic. If they hadn't have dealt with them, they were going to be in so much trouble because they would have had to face off with the team behind, team in front, move forward. If they would have ejected themselves out from the rocks, they'd have got shot in the back lines, they would have been going down in third. So even to try and, rather than win the game, at least guarantee themselves a second placement.
Yeah, and
it's good work.
Again, coming back to what I said at the very start, decisive leadership right there. That is the result of it. When they go for those, I think, you know, like if you're a lesser player, you look at it and it's like, wow, that's super risky. I would never do that. But that's because, again, you have a really decisive, solid cohesion going on. And, I mean, it paid off, obviously. They pick up the win in game number 2 and in good fashion. Wait, was he on a vehicle?
He was on a bike. He tapped him. I think he hit him once through the trees and then actually tapped him in the back of the head. So it was fantastic work. But we'll let these replays play out and you can see how things all did go down. It was a fantastic game number 2.
It was.
It's nice to see a team actually being proactive, you know, using a 2-2 split, using teamwork, deciding when we need to push, when we need to kind of sit back. I still say being able to send 2 off. Again, in the end, things were looking a little bit difficult because you were lacking a scope on the back of that Mini. He was doing work, don't get me wrong, with an iron sight, but even a 2 times would have been better than working with an iron sight because unfortunately you're just kind of shooting into the wind and hoping for the best of it. But again, having numbers advantage at the time, all right, again, it was taken to a 2 versus 2, but going into that with 4 players up against 3, the numbers came out on top and they won the game. I
mean, there was even a point in time here, right, where X5 Frag were in a little bit of trouble because of these 2 players, right? They knocked one of the guys up top, but then, of course, Rizzle comes in with an absolutely massive play and smashes them.
So he's using M4 there, iron sight, and we also saw mini iron sight, which kind of speaks of a bigger problem or a bigger issue. I mean, they kind of probably weighed up the odds here. Let's take a look at his loot. What do we have? How do we go? So they played, I want to call playing at the odds there. So they didn't have really good gear going into that. If you've between 2 guns, if you got a blank M4 and a blank mini, obviously you're lacking scopes. You've had a poor job of looting. You've either done 2 things. You've been damn unlucky and you just had a poor loot run. Or you've opted to say, okay, rather than go for that, we'll go for position. We'll go for the kills. Because remember, this is the team that eliminated Na'Vi and took them out of that zone.
Yeah,
took their place. So they dove in. Maybe they didn't look at the loot boxes. I think
that's what I was thinking, right? Because
could have looked
odds,
at the bodies.
There were the 2 guys in that position, and the odds of any one of them having anything, just like even a red dot for a clearer sight picture, would have really helped.
It's questionable, but either way, I mean, you play the game how you do it, and to be honest with you, they played it well, so it's a good win from them.
Absolutely is. With that said and done, guys, great game number 2. We're going to be throwing it over to a quick break, and then after that, we will be returning with 2 games on Miramar, so stay tuned. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, friends and foes alike. Welcome. Now, we are back. We've just had 2 really explosive and fun games there on Erangel, man. Absolutely nutsy. X5 frag, pick up the win. KitKat come in second. And this time they didn't have 16 kills.
But they still have a first place, second place, and a lot of kills. That's going to rack up a lot of points for them. X5 frags, Risley.
Oh man, that was
double
nutty.
iron sights doing all that work.
That's what I call man mode. Like he you know, I'm in my mind, I'm hoping he looted the Navi bodies and was like, oh, an ACOG. Nah, I'm gonna leave that behind. I'm a man, and he just goes on forward and crushes it with the iron sights. It was nutty though, man. It was absolutely crazy.
He proved that he doesn't need any sights. He'll just go iron sights. Hey, easy.
Yeah.
I'll just pick up a gun and I'll start wrecking people.
I grew up on iron sights on my old man's farm, you know. Let's take a look at the current standings, guys, because they have, of course, been updated in between games. So let's see now the overall standings for game number 2. You can see right there, X5 franked with 11 kills to their name.
Yeah.
It's not 656 points, but it is indeed 576, which is a fair amount. And then second place at KitKat at 394. So a little bit of a drop off there in comparison to their first game, but it's not bad for all intents and purposes.
Still really good. I mean, not as many kills as in first game, as we said, 4 kills. But they do get the second place, and that's another 330 points for them. And that racking up with the last game. What did they have last game? They had like 600 points something. Here we go.
656 in game number 1.
Look at the lead from KitKat. It's almost a full first place lead.
That's crazy, man.
That's really crazy.
That's actually insane, because they have more points between themselves and Unique than teams 16, 15, 14, 13 have together.
So we see the last 4 places right there. Now, they kind of fight for it here on the last 2 Miramar games we have, because you don't want to end up in the Bravo.
You certainly don't, man. It's brutal. It's brutal down there.
Yeah, and Random Friends right now in 4th place. We saw that they excelled a lot on Miramar last week. So if they do that this week as well, we might see them contending for the first place for this week against KitKat.
I mean, we certainly could.
Yeah.
If there's any sort of consistency to them, then I'm really going to just say straight out that we should probably see them pull ahead now over some of the other teams for sure. Like, I'm expecting to see them at least in the top 4 now in both of these games. But maybe they're going to disappoint me. Because that's what always happens when I find a team that I like in PUBG. I'm like, yeah, these guys are pretty good. Like, and then they drop down.
So you're like the opposite of me.
Kind of.
Yeah. Okay.
I
see.
I find a team I like and they don't do well at all. Whereas for you, you're like, yeah, these guys, and then just go and win.
But coming into Miramar, it's going to be much more third party, much more open areas, very much long range shootouts.
Yeah, I mean, we saw that last week.
Yeah,
ton of it. Like, we even had fourth and fifth parties coming into a fight like that. Like a third party chiming into an engagement, and then there's another team shooting at the third partying guy, and then there's another team taking shots over towards the fourth party. It's like,
we should just call this map third party.
Third party, man.
No more Miramar. We're going on to map third party.
That's literally been the mantra that we've had just throughout all of GLL for sure.
Yeah. But seeing Risley with the iron sights in the last game, can he do that again on Miramar?
I swear to God, like, if he picks someone off at like 400 meters with iron sights, I'm gonna just walk out of here, man.
I want to see him do a no-scope 360 with an M24, because the iron sights on that gun is not good. It's literally just a round barrel.
Take some inspiration from Dr. Disrespect, jump up and do the 360 and then try to land the shot.
I want to see someone do that in a competitive game.
That would be so sick.
Yeah, we don't see that.
If you can meme it out and be successful while doing it at this kind of level of play, that's unreal, man. Like,
it was a long time since we saw a pan kill as well.
I don't think I've ever seen a pan kill in GLL in anything that I've worked with it.
Oh, maybe not GLL, but we've seen some in competitive plays.
Maybe PGI or maybe.
I don't think at PGI.
No.
No.
I guess that would have been highlighted.
Never bring out a pan on that level either.
Hey, don't say that, man, because you never know what's going to happen. Maybe there's going to be some mad dog now here for the 3rd season of GLL who's like, all right, his grandma is like, oh yeah, you know, I love his babushka. I love watching you play. So I'm going to give you like 50,000 ruble if you pan that guy. And then he goes and does it in the grand finals.
Wait, what if we get 2 teams hot dropping each other? 2 guys dropping the same building, and they only find melee weapons.
Oh, that's when you turn on voice, and you're like, all right, man, We're gonna do 20 paces, back-to-back 20 paces, and then we just go. Tell your teammates on Discord or whatever to not join in. Like, this is a fight between us.
That would be the total opposite of what we usually see on Miramar. The long-range fights, now we have the shortest one ever.
They both meet in Hacienda.
Or Picado.
That'd be nutty, man.
Yeah.
I'd love to see it, though. That'd be absolutely sick.
Yeah. I mean, it's gonna be interesting for sure now to see how it's gonna pay out on Miramar.
Yeah, I think it helps the fact that we have 64 players and not 100. Because, sometimes in those pickup games, you will see like crazy melee fights break out. They're always super fun to see, but they're always terrible when you're in them yourself. Because, Nonetheless, here we are. Let's take a look. If we could open up the mini-map, or the whole map, pardon me.
Yeah, the whole map. We could see the plane path here.
So it's got a northeast bearing.
All right.
Pretty centralized.
Pretty decent plane, but a lot of people actually likes to play, like, if you draw a line from Los Leones to Al-Sahar, a lot of players loot in that direction, and they might not get all the way over there. So we'll see what happens. Is that 2 teams in Monte Nuevo? It's a pretty split. Like, usually people split up a lot on Miramar. There's no real reason to contest because there is so much base to work on. Especially when it's only 16 teams. But in Picado,
I mean, we could also see them drop down all the way over towards prison, but there's only a single player there.
And the first circle is out. That's a pretty decent circle, actually. I like when they go towards the south there because we got a lot of hills.
A lot of mountainous areas.
Yeah, it's really fun, not just to play, but also see how other teams play it out.
Yeah, for sure. And I believe it was like in the second game thus far, because that's kind of what we're going off here when it comes down to the CIS teams. At least we had some very messy engagements, like on top of some of these hills.
Yeah.
With the last like 4 or 5 teams, and it was really action packed. It was a lot of fun. We saw some crazy shots. That's where I was giving a lot of credit there to the guys in Random Friends.
That's hard with the Vector and only 13 bullets, no extended mag on that. Free X as well, like the bullets doesn't go that far.
It's really fun, like when you're using an SMG like that with like a scope on, and you see the bullet like going in like a U shape.
A lot of teams there between Chumacera and Picado actually, but it looks like we have some teams that is trying to move towards Los Leones. With this plane, like that, all right, if we go there now, we're probably gonna be the first ones. And Los Leones is pretty big, so you can share it with 1 or 2 teams actually without having to fight each other. Just hey, you mind your business taking that, I'll take my side.
That's Silence again with the Vector, remember that?
Oh yeah.
And Diaz starts taking shots, and then immediately Silence chimes back in and does a ton of damage to him. But now he's getting shot in the back by someone else.
The thing is that Diaz doesn't have any first aid, so he doesn't want to go down out there either because none of his friends was helping him out.
When in doubt, there is always Jesus.
Diaz.
Yeah, well, didn't you see the picture of Jesus?
Oh, I didn't.
There
we go. Oh my God.
He's definitely gonna need Jesus if he wants. Okay, never mind. Silence is pushing back. I can't pull that joke just yet. We'll wait. I'll wait with that one. But it's definitely gonna be there. Because you turned your head and looked at me for like 2 seconds, and then they just cut between it really quickly.
So Silence is actually just running around with a level 1 helmet and Vector without extended.
He doesn't have a helmet. It's a cap.
He only got 1 energy drink, so he can't heal up either.
I'd definitely drink that energy drink right now.
Really?
Yeah, I would, because it's really hot outside.
Not sure where he's going. Where is his teammates? They're actually
in Los Leones.
Yeah, south
in the
Los
south
Leones. So you gotta run pretty far, Silence, if you're gonna try to catch up to them.
He's gonna be burning a lot of calories on this run, that's for sure. Now, the danger here is going to be that we've got 3 more players in Los Leones, so a fight could definitely be breaking out there. Or if, again, for whatever reason, Silence decides to go for the wide sprint and go straight in, then
I'm pretty sure Silence would just go for the compounds close to where he is right now.
He should, for sure.
Just try to do a few compounds, get the essentials like a helmet, which he already had, a armor, a backpack, some meds, And then he's good.
A real gun, because Vector...
Well, no, the Vector's good enough for this.
No, I don't think it's good enough on a map like Miramar, right? Because of the long-range nature.
The thing is, his friends will loot up for him in Los Leones and come to him later.
You're assuming that his friends are going to be willing to share with...
Hey, this is not random friends, you know?
That's true. That's true. Random... Oh, yeah. I remember now what we were saying last time. Like 0 team play.
Because they're Kit Kat. They're not
he's back again. It was Jesus again on the cross.
Oh. Jesus
You know
Christ.
what? I think that the producers are trying to tell us something.
All right. Wait. What are they trying to tell
Maybe,
us, though?
We'll wait and see. Navi, by
Shark
the way...
is actually getting a crate there. What was it in the crate?
No, it's,
I don't remember. We
Groza,
did see it.
a Groza, with a
Groza.
suppressor, mind you.
Well, the thing is, you don't really want to have a Groza.
No, but we were talking about that, if you remember. Like, the Groza is absolutely brutal in the final circles, right? Because then you're close enough to justify using it. But until then, it's not that great.
Exactly.
So, like, maybe you take that. And, like, if you find a sniper rifle, like, I would probably play sniper rifle plus Groza on this map. Like, if I found it so early like this.
I'm pretty surprised here that almost every team is on the north part of the first circle here. Because on the south part, if you take a few mountains on the southwest part, like just west of the center of the circle there, you can hold a lot of ground from up there on the mountains.
That's true. You'll have, like, really long, open fields of view that you can use, like, especially if you have a scoped rifle. But nonetheless...
Oh, Jesus!
Wait, what's going on here?
I saw Jesus again.
Oh. I was like, oh, Jesus, something happened.
Oh, hi.
He also met Jesus very quickly.
He had a little bit of an accident.
That's an accident.
That's an accident.
That is an accident, not the other one. All right. Well, Silence has found himself an AK at least, and a level 1 vest. No helmet, though.
Oh, he's welcome to South Georgia.
Wait, is that a helmet? No, it's not.
Yeah, that's a level 1 helmet. It's a new skin. You buy for 20k BP.
That looks sick.
Yeah, it kind of does, but I'm
it
not.
Looks like it reminds me of a riding helmet.
Oh, you're saying he's riding it like a horse?
Like a horse, yeah. It looks like a riding helmet.
Maybe.
When I was younger, I used to do horse riding. That's why I know.
I mean, we're in the desert. Shouldn't he be riding a camel then?
Horses, too. I mean, maybe.
It could be the Wild West. I'm not sure.
It could be it actually looks more like the Wild West.
Yeah.
It looks like it's like Mexico or something like that.
Yeah.
Texas.
Yeah. Not Texas if you... Picado doesn't sound too Texas, so Los Leones.
But they have like sun something in Texas. So.
What?
Like a city, San something. It's not San Martin, but it's San.
Oh, you mean like that? Okay.
Yeah, they're like towns and stuff. So they have like Spanish names.
All right.
We don't know. But nonetheless, we haven't seen anyone go down. Actually, we're 7 minutes in, but we could very well see something right now. It's all about if you can connect these shots. If you can replicate what Snoopy did in the last game with his scar, okay, never mind. He's not going to do anything.
Didn't connect a single shot. Oh, he had an accident. He lost his life.
He did.
Finally.
So he knocked himself out with the car and was like, no, suit yourself.
So Recrent actually gets a drop there, but Constantine for M19 is looking over that. He's like, hey, I want some of this stuff as well.
Mark 14. Oof. This is a gun you want on this map for sure. It's so powerful. Can be a little bit hard to line up some of those shots, especially when opponents get closer, but...
You don't... actually, this gun is so good on close range because it has full auto. But also, the impact from the shots will destroy... What is that helmet?
Is that another... Wait, that looks like a Star Wars helmet.
When did that one come? I've never seen that helmet before.
Like the pattern on the sides, it really looks similar to the Rebel helmets for those X-Wing fighters.
Yeah.
Dude, that's so cool. I love this.
Okay, I got sidetracked there. But about the Mark 14,
oh yeah,
actually, it does so much impact damage that you will destroy armor so easily.
That's true. It's like an SKS. Take it to the next level.
Yeah. So if you just tag people, the Mark 14 and the SLR is really great to just tag people in the chest. Don't go for the headshots.
And we were talking about this, right? Sims and I in the last game, about the equipment that in the late game, sometimes you'll see a lot of these teams. Na'Vi now, for instance, is a good example of this. They came into it by the 3rd or 4th circle that they had no vests on 2 of their players. And then using that Mark 14 and an SLR head that we actually see on Ubica, if you can tear up a couple of teams' equipment early on now, they're going to be so easy to kill eventually later on if you run into them again.
Yeah, or if you're in a position where you're just holding them out, if you just tag them down, we see Ubica here with SLR, if he just tags them down now, he will tag up their armors. And that will hurt them a lot in the later stage of the game.
No, absolutely. That's a really interesting sort of macro aspect to the game that I didn't really think about until today, until you and, I'm having this conversation with yourself and Sims, which is kind of cool. But now, we might indeed have a very messy engagement. KitKat rolling straight on in. Ubega has done a lot of damage onto one of these players. Young Sunny rolling in as well between these buildings. But remember, he's got 2 more players to worry about there. They're just going to bypass them immediately. I like it. Vega Squadron sort of holding back. They're not taking shots to give away their position to the guys in KitKat, at least.
Bulldog is getting a drop as well. There's so many people getting drops here right now, I feel like.
Free loot, man.
Wait, isn't that the old drop, though?
No, wait, it is the old drop on the side of the road. Yeah, it is.
He's like,
Oh, wait, but dude, he might be in a lot of trouble now because he goes for it and M19.
Oh,
they hear it. They hear it.
It doesn't go too fast for him.
Oh, my God, there it is. He gets absolutely massacred.
Yeah, that's an easy kill there. Easy pickup, for example. But he might also hear Kippy driving on the outside. Buggy, if you hit a tire there, you want to pop a tire there to make him spin out because then he's vulnerable.
Yeah, but that was really nice. He drives down into the side of the ditch, into the defilated position. So now they can't at least engage him from there. So he will be able to heal up, but
he's stuck over there, though. He got nowhere to go.
Wait, the observer just showed us the Mark 14 on the ground with the suppressor.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, come on, pick it up.
Constantine.
Why would you not take the Mark 14?
What does he have? He got... Wait, you got a barrel and a mutant. So instead, he's actually playing mutant instead of the Mark 14. That's an interesting choice, actually.
It certainly is. I mean, like, every single time of day, I would take the Mark 14 over any other DMR in the game, except for like an AWM.
Well, that's the beauty of this game. It's such a personal preference down to everything. What kind of weapon you want, what kind of grips you want, how you want to play it. Like,
that's true.
A lot of players like to have the Mini instead of a SKS.
It's because personal preference.
Yeah, and that's what makes this game so nice, in my opinion.
I was just going to straight up say, like, yeah, well, if you objectively want to have, the weapon that's not as good, then that is up to you.
I mean, sometimes you're going to, if you're more confident, you're going to hit your shot.
Exactly.
So if you're confident with the gun...
That's obviously true. I'm just being a bit of an idiot, if you will, for lack of a better term.
No, so it's interesting to see, like, a lot of players are probably facepalming themselves right now watching this, like, oh my God, he didn't pick up the Mark 14.
But no, you're really correct about that. That's something really important to remember, like, because remember when the M16 got nerfed and people were like, no, it sucks still, but then you still saw some individual players who are absolute monsters with it because they simply like the rifle. That's what they're, grown accustomed to.
Mm-hmm. Free agents. Hey, how do you pronounce that name?
Jet ski. Like jet ski, but jet ski.
Jet ski. And then? Oh.
I'm not going to...
That's actually knocks Lazy over there.
And finishes him off.
Yeah.
Jet ski, of course, helping out a little bit.
Maybe.
But that's like a really nice shot as well at long range with those minis.
Mm-hmm.
Can be some challenge, to get out there with those rounds.
The thing with the mini is you have less bullet drop with it, so it's easier to control on that kind of sense. And 5.56 doesn't take as much space as 7.62, which means that you have more bullets you can pick up and use.
So I guess you can be a little bit more liberal with missing shots, if you will. But same thing really here. Ubega, he's got a ton of ammo for this SLR. So.
Yeah.
He's also being very open
but
with
his teammate Dyser will need some of those ammo soon.
Oh, that's true. He doesn't even have a full mag now.
And he's shooting at nothing with his 2x AK for some reason.
That's ambitious. Well, 60 players alive. 13 minutes in, 13.
If you don't have ammo like he didn't there, you shouldn't actually take... Okay, he was shooting at the tires. That makes sense then.
The bike is like lodged under the front of the car as well. I like it.
But yeah, if you don't have ammo, you kind of want to reserve the ammo and making sure that every shot counts. Because you might need them for a breach or like if you're going to breach someone, that's when you want to have the ammo.
Yeah.
Use it there,
and like
kill someone and grab their stuff.
When you spot someone out in the open, like maybe if you save that ammunition, that extra mag, you could actually shoot at them and knock them out.
Yeah.
And get some more points for your team, stuff like that. It's obviously easy for you and I to sit here in observer mode as casters and be like, yeah, blah, 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 hindsight, all of these things. But in the situation when you're playing yourself, I mean, you've played at a decent level. And
a lot of people don't reserve on the ammo. I can tell you that. They're like, hey, I got 50 rounds left. Can
So
I have some?
I'm just gonna waste a mag.
Yeah, and then they waste a mag or two, and they're like, I'm out of ammo, and then you have to give them some, and then you're like, all right, maybe they'll think about it this time, but no.
Never happens.
2 minutes later, hey, I'm out of ammo again.
That's why you shouldn't play with random friends, dude. You should play with team random friends. They've been looking solid.
Yeah.
Throughout. Last week. Now they had a decent game coming in second, but
Ado
that's
with
a sick spray
there. Yeah.
That was really nice. Finishes him off with a suppressed mini. Like, we're seeing a ton of players actually run the Mini 14 right now.
So this is the hard part with Miramar. Playing Miramar, you gotta rotate on the roads, because if you don't use the roads, it's so hard to rotate. It's too hilly. You're not gonna get the speed and stuff. So that's why it's so hard when you need to rotate. If you're on the road, it's like a choke point. Every time you're on the road, people could be lurking anywhere.
Yeah, it's really really tough. I think that this is one of the maps where it almost gets a little bit easier the smaller the zone is.
Yeah.
Because then at least people will be more condensed to certain areas, so you can sort of know a little bit easier what to avoid.
I'd say after like 2, maybe 3 circles, you don't want to have any vehicles anymore.
Yeah.
You want to rotate on foot, because you don't know if you go above a hill, you might have a team that heard you pulling up with a vehicle before. You're going to be so slow that it's going to be easy kills for them.
I mean, we've already seen it in action a couple of times, right? A team drives up onto the top, and then there's another one waiting for them on the other side of the ridge line.
Of course, it depends on where the zone is as well, but we see that this zone is actually moving a little bit towards the south part there with a lot of hills, and that's going to be a nice game to see if it continues moving towards the south here.
Yeah, certainly, man. I mean, we've already got a couple of teams perched up on top. You can see it right there. Tornado Energy Storm.
Yeah.
And then we saw another team there. They were all stacked up, so I can actually read the names. Winside still here. They've got a fair amount of sniper rifles as well, so they could most certainly pose a very significant threat to any of these guys who pop their heads over the ridgeline.
Now, the thing is, even if you get a knock here, you're probably not going to get to finish, but with a knock or two,
Helmet on.
No helmets, and you can make a push from that. You can start flanking, you can start moving, because they're going to be starting to rest people. They don't know if you're going to be moving towards them and stuff like that. They're not going to peek you.
I'm thinking at that range, maybe it's a little bit of a stretch, because then they have this valley between them as well.
Yeah,
but the principle is the same for sure.
But if you don't knock them before you move, that means that they might just peek you whenever you start moving.
Yeah, but I mean, you knock one guy, another one is on pickup duty. They've got 2 more who can sort of call at least.
But that's 2 less people that are shooting at you. 100% less.
That is fair. Quick maths.
Quick maths. So a new circle popped up, and it's fairly central, a little bit to the southwest, I'd say. Still a really good circle where you see a little bit part of Churmasera there. A lot of teams around there. And it's kind of a open valley in the middle there as well.
Got a lot of teams on the south end as well.
So
now, pardon me, go
on. If you're down to like 1 or 2 players, you might want to be in the center of the valley, because whenever the teams from the east or west is peeking, they get shot from the other side. So you can use that to your advantage as well.
I think like optimally, you would like to find a corner though, like either west or east, that has like a little dip.
Yeah.
Like you just stay prone in.
Yeah.
That's if you get lucky.
Cover.
Yeah, but if not, then you don't want to stay centered. A lot of shots being thrown out here, left and right, as you can see. Hello, Senpai. I don't think he had too much ammo either for that mutant, so needs to be a little bit more conservative.
We see a lot of people actually playing the mutant. It's very fun to see a new gun like that being used that much.
I mean, like Sims put it, it's just insanely accurate.
It's insanely accurate for some people. For me, it's not. I don't know why.
You know what? I don't think that's so much an issue with a gun. I think it's a little bit more of a Froz issue, if you ask me. But okay, Kit Kat now. They are going to be initiating this push indeed. That's kind of cute, jumping over like it's a game of CS. Jump peeking.
Zero actually gets knocked and taken down there.
But
he got close and personal.
Oh, okay.
That's a good day. That's a real good day. He didn't cook it enough.
He forces him out at least.
No, it's. Oh, what? Wait, where did that?
How did he not die? Young Sunny goes in to face his death. Silence comes in there. So at least there's a little bit of a trade going on. Kemba's going to be moving on out. Where are the other players from Vega Squadron, though?
Wait, Young Sunny went down as well, though.
Did he die?
The rest of Vega is to the north, actually.
Yeah, it's Vampire
we got Vampire
game.
there as well.
And then he's got Kippy far north.
Yeah.
But he's so far disconnected from this.
He can't really help him.
Exactly.
Like, and it's only down to Kippy and Vampire right now.
He does help him, though. He picks him out in rotation between the buildings.
Oh, with the
long-range
M4.
sniper, man. That's absolutely sick. This is similar to what we actually saw Na'Vi doing in last week, you know, when they set up a defensive position like this. 3 men hold the compound, a 4th man go up and beat the sniper.
Was it this compound as well?
No, it was a different one. It was a different one. But like they were doing the exact same thing.
Yeah.
They caught them out in rotation and knocked one of them down.
Yeah.
That's so sick. And now all of a sudden, I mean, Kit Kat, 1 man left standing.
No, recording. Oh, yeah. Recording from Kit Kat.
It's confusing when you have like a word like that as your name.
Yeah.
Sometimes because you're like,
I mean, Kit Kat sounds more like a player, even though it's a candy.
There was this guy that I casted once. His name was 1 Man. So I would say, oh, we have 1 man left here on this area or like on this site.
Recording actually made it over to silence, but he still get finished by Kippy.
That's brutal, man. I love it. It's so smart.
Circle 5 just prone. Is he? No, there's 2 of them left.
Sharkies and Circle 5.
Yeah, Winside wants to be a part of this. They're like, all right, we see the smokes. We know that you guys are over there.
Winside still haven't really found their footing, I feel, so far. This is the 3rd map, so, you know, here is their chance to make some big waves because, again, thus far they haven't really done too much. So we'll see. But now jumping over towards huge potential.
Pokemon Lode goes down to the, dives to the zone, actually.
Wait, what? Where's the rest of Na'Vi?
I don't know where they are.
Good grenade there from... On
X-Team, he's just lurking with Na'Vi there.
Oh no! Looks as if they are going to disengage.
He runs over Masturbator and then he gets knocked
shot
himself.
And he goes.
Not sure what's going on. And finished by a nade there from Penn.
All right. I mean, that's way to do it. One way to do it.
Huge potential here. With 1 bullet in his M24, he could reload that.
Unique also in a very tough position. Oh, look at that HP, man.
Oh,
Stand
one
in.
shot. One shot is all.
He's trying his best. Get away, he loses a tire. That's it. QBF are going to finish him off, and that's Unique going out in 16th place in game number 3. First one here on Miramar.
I mean, they've been doing pretty good up until this. That's a hard hit on them.
I want to point this out, by the way. If you look at it, good knock here from Sharkies.
Yeah, that's the gross that we were talking about. Up and close and personal with it.
M19 also taking a ton of damage, by the way. I think it's like 2 or 3 of them go down.
Now that's the hard part with the gross, to do those long range shots. Should have swapped over to the Scar there.
Kit Kat go out here now in 15th place as well. That's 2 teams lost, 3 teams lost. I think that was Elite Player being the last one for M19. Another top team that we were talking about, you know, having some very high expectations for them, initially at least. But now, I mean, thus far, it hasn't been looking good.
For Kit Kat, it's not that bad, though, because they had the first chicken dinner and a 2nd place in the 2nd game. And the first game, they had 60 kills. That Greenhawk did he just turn on him?
He just turned on him,
with M24, he just turned, and he only had one bullet left.
He 180'd and just immediately domed him.
He only had 1 bullet left in the M24. He didn't reload it before. Oh, Solter's actually getting a nice knock on Max's sword as well.
That's so sick. Unfortunately, there for them, they will be able to pick up their friends because they are covered.
We got some nades coming in here. Come on. Oh, that's a good nade. Yes.
Oh, my God.
No, not good enough.
They both survived. They both survived. That's unreal. They both had a sliver of HP.
Oh, my God. If Solters just knew how much that nade did. Oh, he would be so disappointed.
I would be raging if I knew that had just happened. That is
some good ADR,
close,
though.
but no cigar. So frustrating, yeah. Well.
Oh, Vampire Game, he's out.
Okay.
Kippy left though for Vega right now.
Lucky for him that he's so far out.
X5 Frags gets killed on, and they go out on 13th place.
Okay, so
they actually won the last game.
Yeah, we've already lost the winners of game 1 and 2 so early on. Snoopy, good knock there on Salters. Remember that they are dealing with huge potential. It's Greenhawk. Oh, he's taking so much fire, and there it is. Onyukativ is going to end him.
Now, if Salters nade actually hit them, this could have been a totally different story.
Yeah, 2v2 is
yeah.
what we would have seen, for sure. That's absolutely massive, as you say. Nice spray initiation here from Orange. And then
he got some help from Rick.
But that's free agents gone. Another team that had a very strong showing in the last game.
Yeah,
I mean, they were losing all of the top 5s already.
I mean, that's what we've been talking about. A lot of teams are good on Erangel. Some teams are better on Miramar, and that's probably what we're seeing here. What's going on in the production room?
Yeah, I can hear them yelling as well. But
I think they're singing.
I think
praying.
I think they're praying to Jesus, man. That's what they're trying to tell us. We need to pray as well for random friends to do well here.
And Vanguard got themselves a good compound on the east side of the circle there, actually. They can hold out a lot, and they can make sure that they cover a lot of ground to the west of them as well.
Yeah, I think, they've lost a man. But as you say, they've got a solid compound. They don't need to move either. They're inside of the zone. Now, the only thing that's going to be tough for them is if it moves towards the west. Then they'll have to cross the road.
Oh,
another really nice shot. Wait,
Pin shoots out Dyson and he falls to his death.
Can he do that again?
Come on, one more time.
If he does this again, I swear to God.
No.
Oh, okay. A man can dream.
Hey, it was good enough with the first one. I like that one.
We were a little bit ambitious, but now Records is going to jump straight out there, but he is absolutely pinned between these two teams. He's got QBF on one side and the T...
he's doing some work, though.
What's going on? Avantgarde, they're pinned between QBF and Avantgarde right now, but Yubica's still alive somehow in this smoke. Good grenade.
Oof, yeah. So now he can use the other side here of that hay bale to actually have some cover.
That's actually really well played there by Yubica, to be honest, but I don't know for how long he's going to stay in this. Windside are looking towards him as well.
QBF is coming in as well there now, and they spotted Yubica.
Yeah, here's the collapse. Orange is coming in, though, from the southeast. He's on rotation, so maybe he could help his friend.
Orange is TE Storm, right?
Yes, correct. There's two guys left for that team. We've got 9 teams left standing, by the way, guys. 24 players remaining. Yubica finally gets picked off there, and he does go down there, of course, to pin. Best lock is there as well, and headshots Orange on rotation. He
That's
goes in
TE
to try and
Storm
help
out
his
on
friend.
9th place.
Yes, sir. 8 teams now left standing. It changed very quickly.
Yeah, now QBF, like, they came in from the outside of the circle. Oh, Navi goes out on 8th place there to the Swarm.
I love that we're just having a conversation, and then like, oh, by the way, guys, this team just got knocked out.
Now, QBF, they can take over the circle from the south side there, and they know that their back is free because they came from the far south there.
We look at this, though, here. Froz, we've got the Swarm. They've spotted out one of these guys. It's, of course, from TE Battle. Looks as if they've got 2 players left.
That is way too far out.
But
TE Battle is outside the next zone, though, so they need to move in. This zone will hurt them a lot as well.
Yeah, you could even see right there that there is potential for another team to charm on it. Now, Ionist is going to drop 1. That's X-Team gone, so this leaves everything in the hands of Camkia, but he's prone in the stitch. He's going to dodge to the zone.
That's TE Battle, 7th place.
We're really starting to narrow things down here, man. The Swarm are still here. They've got all 4 players left standing, 5 kills to their name as well, which isn't all too shabby.
Yeah.
Now,
I mean, a lot of the kills comes in from this point of the game, actually. This is where you can kill a lot of people, and you can just snowball on it.
Really nice use of these smokes, by the way, to give them some concealment. But Snoopy overextending there, the smoke fading on him, and he goes down immediately. Alia also drops Max's ore, so it's all on Innocutive, and what is he going to do? He's trapped behind this rock, and then he's also got the guys down
outside the
south.
zone as well, and the Swarm is just holding them out. They're doing a good job here, just holding everybody out. They're like, this is our zone, this is our part of zone. You don't get to come in here.
I like it that they're just spraying into that smoke. Windside as well actually managed to get the kill onto Hello Senpai, the knock at least on one of these players from QBF. Pin is still there, but he's now all alone.
And outside the circle. That will start moving in 15 seconds.
All of these players that are in a poor position, or that are all alone, they're in a poor position. So like they've got all the odds stacked against them.
Windside actually gets knocked there. The tab gets knocked from force.
Nice shot there. I think it was I believe that was Grishka who knocked him, maybe one of the other guys.
Yeah, no, it was Grishka.
With the ACOG.
He's like,
He's overshooting just a little bit.
Downhill, man.
He needs to go back to the range, man, and practice. That's like a super. He lands the hard shot on a moving target, but doesn't connect the one on the easy one.
You'll be surprised how much that happens, actually. It's so much hard to hit someone who's just crouching around like that.
Oh, well.
For some reason. I don't know why, but it's like, you're like, stressing it out. You just want to get
it's
that
such an
finish.
easy kill. Why can't I do this? But we've got 5 teams left.
Yeah.
14 players remaining as well. 28 minutes and 35 seconds into this game. That's a good shot. He does a lot of damage to the player in the little shack. Now remember, he's all alone and he's inside the zone, taking damage. Compot very low on HP, but Mash is currently engaging him really hard, and he finally goes down. And now immediately they turn their attention. Falls with this Scott doing a ton of damage over towards Compot, but he manages to get up onto the bike and maybe make an escape.
No helmet either. Mash is in the good hands here with the Scar. He just needs to hit that one shot, which he does there. Nice headshot coming in. Winside, that's Winside out on 4th place as well.
Correct.
And was that? No, Avenger still have Diaz up. He's just proning around there in the center of the circle. Looking good for the Swarm right now with 4 man up.
Yeah, and they have the high ground position as well, so they can always be shooting down. But again, it's...
They're controlling more or less the whole circle here from up there as well.
The entire northwest side.
I mean, you can see everything from up there. That's the whole thing.
Oh, and grenades like this could be brutal as well if they could get them close enough.
New circle up.
Yeah, and it's still there. The Swarm still have it.
Now, the thing is that the Swarm is still a little bit in up there, so they have a really decent position there. Force is gonna need to... They're getting forced out.
They're getting forced out.
To the open. And Diaz is just... he's just running around over there, making sure nobody kills him.
It's D's for now, but it's going to be Diaz very shortly.
Mekalovic has an arm in his hand, and he knocks out Mash.
Okay, this is a good position for
Diaz
at least.
Now, this is the thing. With Diaz there, he's just solo. If Force gets a knock or two on Swarm, they could make some potential damage that makes Diaz popping up and just wins the game as well.
That could happen,
Yeah.
but not until the Swarm get a little bit closer, because at this range right now, solo, that's never going to happen. And they're already still doing a lot of damage over towards these players in 4s. They've got 10 kills, by the way, thus far. Last time we checked in, they had 5.
Now,
so they've doubled that tally.
Yeah, Senya actually got the ridge over there, so he's good over there.
Yeah, he's covered.
But
his teammates are also... Oh, I like this, actually. This one, they're going to go for it. They're going to push.
Yeah.
Mash gets dropped by Iron Nest, and then they send the other 2 guys on an assault mission. This is exactly what you want to be doing, because you have the control from long range, and now you can just go in, close the gap, and there it is.
That's Force.
Force is eliminated, 2nd place, and now we only have 1 man left. It is D's. 1 versus 4. 13 kills.
Diaz.
Almost like Diaz, but Diaz.
Yeah. I think that's what it is.
We've said Diaz, Diaz.
Diaz. That's what I say, and he never corrected me. Really nice guy.
Well, we'll see how nice he'll be about this one, because now he's all alone, and there it is.
Go.
He goes down, and Avangar, 2nd place in this one for the Swarm. Remember that, they moved up from Bravo last week, and here they are with their first win in Alpha.
Seems like Miramar is their kind of map. That's where they excel. I mean... How many kills did they have? They had 14 kills. Do you know how much point that is?
14 kills, 14 times 16.
224.
I can't do quick maths, man. You're the quick maths guy.
Hey, that's me.
Quick maths. But yeah, that, again, a fairly slow start. This is kind of what we see a lot across the board for all maps, but even more so, I want to say, on Miramar for the most part. But then towards the end, you can see right there, when we had that team, for the Swarm, on top of that hillside, they controlled so much of that space. And you could see it right there. Like I said, you know, they had 5 kills already the first time we checked in. And, and 2 of those, remember, those were from, I think that was like random friends. And TE Battle.
TE Battle,
that they've done a lot of damage to. And then after that, they just stay up top and take all of these guys who are rotating in, trying to get into the zone. Just pick them off, man.
Yeah.
Super easy stuff for them. But great performance nonetheless.
Great performance from them, and they actually needed that one. They really needed those points to be able to stay in Alpha, and I think with that one, they actually kind of secured their place in Alpha for the next week as well.
I think that what we're looking at here is you're generally looking that you need between 600 and 700 points to pretty much guarantee you that you stay afloat inside
it might be a little bit more if you looked at like somewhere about 700 to 800 I'd say is
but I mean like if you get that in a single game, if you get like 600 points in one game,
then you're pretty much guaranteed to get it if you don't get like 16 after that.
That's true, exactly. But is that ever gonna happen? I don't think so, guys. These players are way too good. But nonetheless, that's game number 3 concluded on Miramar. We've got one more coming up from the CIS plus Turkey region, guys, after this quick break, so don't go anywhere, and we'll be right back. We're back here in the studio, guys. One more game to go in the CIS and Turkey region.
Yes.
One more game in the Miramar. Welcome back, Sims.
Thank you. It was a pretty decent game, last one. It's a different map is Miramar altogether, isn't it, from Erangel? When you
Really is.
everything about it, from the topology, the trajectory, I mean, for some people, it's one of those hit and miss. There are some teams that have become really, really good at it and know how to kind of play it off the back of it, know how to not work the circles, but understand a good reference of where things may go and get ahead of it. But certainly the size of it and the sheer amount of hills that can get in the way and kind of be an objective between you and the team, I think the map becomes the enemy rather than the other players that are on the map.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
that's the first thing you need to fight the desert. Now, that's one of the things they say, right? If you crash in the desert, don't fight the desert. Work with it, because if you start fighting the desert, you'll die very quickly.
Very, very deep, but also very, very true. I
mean, obviously, if you have guys then hunting you with guns,
becomes a problem.
That amplifies the problem. Yeah, guys, let's take a look at the current standings, of course. They have been updated, like always, in between games. So let's see. The final tally, 624 points. That's not too far off from what we saw there for KitKat in game number 1. So the Swarm, again, their first showing here in the Alpha Division. Very nice to get this amount of points in the third game.
This is kind of what, and again, this happens, across the board kind of thing when we look at teams. But look at KitKat's points in reference to game number 1. It's complete day and night. Whether or not you can bank that off it just being a different map and they're not used to it, or they're not very good at it. See if it plays a difference in the overall. Thankfully not. It's obviously going to drag them down, but if they were up in even the top 10 in that last game, I mean, imagine what the points would be like now. It would be absolutely disgusting, potentially even uncatchable.
I mean, most certainly. They've already managed to get themselves the win. They've got the second place in game 2. That's already a ton of points. And, well...
in the red zone, though.
Yeah, we've got...
Who would have thought that?
4 of these teams.
M19, so
Vega Squadron as well.
We're going into game number 4 here. You've got your Season 1 and Season 2 Grand Champions potentially dropping out in week number 2.
And remember,
Alpha.
Vega just made it into Alpha.
That's a good point.
From last one, right? So to have them drop out immediately, back to back like that.
Get back there. Come on.
Yeah, exactly.
Teams
it's like
bullying them.
Like a snake with a stick. You're poking it with a stick, keep it back. That's
welcome to the big leagues.
It's terrible, man. So
it feels bad.
It certainly is. I mean, that's not the start you're looking for, obviously, but I'm worried that if we see them drop out now, already, like just having made it back into Alpha, I mean, from there on out, another week in Bravo, that's really going to cut into their points overall.
I think the one who's kind of laughing at this point is, I would say laughing, but it shows you a difference of individual players when we see people like Avanga. We've still got players in there that have been there since day 1. They're still up at the top. An Octave still up at the top. All these individual players that have kind of moved off, but unfortunately, it just feels like things. Obviously, we know changes are coming from Navi. We've seen a recent tweet, so there might be problems within the camp. Players been a little bit cheesed off.
We were talking about that a little bit, right? The dynamic of having to find your footing together as a group, stuff like that.
There's going to be issues along the way, and people might have just, to be fair, given up. And I can imagine that there'll be a few of these players with things that are coming in the wins. It'll be a little bit depressing playing with, I'm not going to be here in a few weeks' time, so what's even the point? I'm not saying players are doing that. We're just trying to give a bit of a mind frame that things... there's a lot of stuff happening in the background, and we can't talk too much to it or allude too much to it. We can only go what we see on social media, and we know things are happening in the back with Navi and so on and so forth. M19, I didn't expect... They were a team that really came, were up and coming, and we saw what they did through Season 2. And then they went on to win the bloody finals, but not having a very, very great week in week number 2.
No, most certainly not. I mean, they are in risk of dropping out now. There's one more game to go, and they need to do really well here in order to secure themselves the spot. Obviously, even if... Let's see, how many points do they need to get? I think it's like something 150, 200 points, which isn't even that much of a tall order, right, to call for.
I think for me,
so far, I mean, their showing has been relatively weak.
It's okay trying to do the maths and having a look at that, and that's always nice when you have a coach who's sat there going, okay, well, if we do this, this team's a threat, this team's a threat, this team, we need to come above to try and, essentially force someone else into your position. That's what you can always have a look at that and say, okay, well, if they're only a few above us, we might be able to force them into relegation and steal their zone. I think it was it NA last week where they had 6 teams potentially going into the last game that could have dropped out into the Bravo division. It was pretty rough, and you can kind of look at that one. But for me, if I were the coach of these boys, I'd be kind of saying, all right, these aren't the specific points you need. Just have a good game. Just do well. Don't worry about the points. Just worry about surviving. Worry about getting as many bodies as you can to those final circles. Because if you get past a certain cut-off point, it's like, okay, we're doing well here. Let's keep this going. Let's keep on doing what we're doing. Just play the game. Don't worry about the points.
It's what you said there in the last game that we covered, right? It's about survival at that stage more than anything else. To just bring it into the, you play for the long haul.
This game is survival. At the end of the day, it's as simple as that, right? Regardless of what way you people play it, and I know some people say, oh, look, it's a snooze fest to staying alive, blah, 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 snakes in the grass. Look, points mean prizes at the end of the day. These boys have got a job to do, and they have to stay above what I call the red dead zone. They've got their own red zone, which is relegation. They need to just stay above that. And if snaking away and, playing like a sneaky beaver is the way to do it, then hell, that's what you've got to do. It's as simple as that.
A winning strategy is a winning strategy.
Absolutely.
It's like what does it say? If it works, it ain't stupid.
If it's not broke, don't fix it. I've kind of just tweeted something like that, actually, thinking about it. Hey, look, everyone has their own individual things. Some people still like to go and try and dive bomb center. I think that's kind of what's quite good about PUBG and obviously we are just talking about, we'll get this fourth and final game up and running for you guys, so don't worry, we will get on with it as quick as possible. But there are many dynamics to PUBG, and there's also many ways. There's no set way that you can play this. Obviously, there's an element of RNG where the circle's going to go, but still you have to have all the dynamics to try and play that off the back of it. I mean,
it's like a game of poker, right? You're playing by the likelihood of that you should have certain elements on the table to always have at hand.
Look, Erangel and Miramar can be a very cruel mistress at times.
For sure.
Especially Miramar. If you get a hard shift and you're in a rough spot and rough position, a hard transition on this map, it can literally be life or death, and you can die so much easier in transition on rotation on this map than you can compared to Erangel.
I mean, that's exactly what we saw. Like, the second team to die out were trying to make a wide rotation from the south side of the map. They were crossing along the main road. They run straight into Unique, who just happened to be perched up top on that ridgeline,
This is one of those moments where the coach, the IGL, whoever's running the team needs to go back, download all these VODs or just watch them again and start writing down, okay, where did our enemies go? Where did we go? Where did we go wrong?
Yeah.
Take a look, write down, literally get a piece of paper and start writing down, okay, well, they started at A and they ended at B. How did they get to that point? That's the thing with PUBG. It's a story that's being written in real time, and you need to be able to take that information. Your coach needs to be reeling in and say, okay, well, we don't want to go there because this team will be crossing over this path, or we don't want to go to B because C team will be coming in. And if you can think one step ahead of the circles, who's going to be there? Okay, well, we can't take that compound because Faye's going to be there. We can't do this because Liquid likes to come up from this rotation, so on and so forth. That's the job of the coaches. That's a good coach dealing with the IGL, and the IGL will be pointing that out and making people aware of it. So yeah, it's also a learning curve. If you die heavily on rotation, then watching these back, that's the learning points at the end of it. Simple as that.
Yeah, obviously that's one side of it, right? On the opposite end, we have the points and the league overall, the standings. And sure, maybe you can take 1 week. I'd say 1 week is almost pushing it a little bit at this stage if you're at risk of dropping into Bravo, because you drop into Bravo, then you're spending another week and making half points. So that's 2 weeks already. And then you make it back up. So yeah, like one mistake can just cut you short in this tournament for sure.
And you want to try and, I think as well, getting up there and climbing out of it, you want to stay there.
Yeah, like we're not even talking about just barely staying afloat in Alpha. You want to make sure that you secure your position, like in the top 8 at least, like even top 6, top 4, preferably.
I think if
but
you
now, it's.
I haven't done the math. I haven't sat there and done the math. But I think if you drop out twice, I'd like to say that you're going to be in real trouble at a minimum. I don't want to sit here and say, oh, you're definitely not making it to finals, but it's certainly you're not doing yourself any kind of making any easy road whatsoever.
No, I mean, what you're looking at realistically from that point on, if you spend 2 weeks down in Bravo like this as a dropout from Alpha, like pushing it really hard, and this is relying on that you play super well in your Bravo division games, right? That you get like first place, second place, third place, something like that, something sort of otherworldly, if you will, in those 4 games consistently as well.
Yeah.
From there on, that doesn't even guarantee you enough points to even contend with some of these guys who are continuously accumulating points while they're playing the division, Alpha division games the same week as you're playing your Bravo division games. So maybe 1 week you look at it at the start of it, yeah guys, this is doable. You play your games, you've accumulated, let's say, 900 points, and then you look at the Alpha division guys, then they've made another,
what have they done
500, 1500 points, you don't know.
I think it's still, even at that point though, you shouldn't, no team should be saying, oh well, there's no point in us going up, we shouldn't do that. If you're that mindset and you're in that frame of mind, then I don't think you're playing the right game, to be honest with you.
No, that's fair,
even if you come in the final week and you know for a fact you can't win, you can't get into the finals, still making it up to Alpha, playing against the big boys, learning what it's like to be at the top, learning more than anything, going up against them, seeing what it's like.
That's true. Getting experience to play at this kind of level.
Some of these lower teams in Europe, I will say this. I know obviously we're in CIS and Turkey here, but some of these lower rated teams, these tier 2, tier 3. If I were on them, I'd love to be playing against FaZe and Liquid. I'd love to be getting battered by them.
That's one of the best ways to learn.
It's a way to get better.
Yeah, exactly. Like getting absolutely smashed by someone who's better than you, one of your peers, is a really good way to learn, because then you'll see what they're doing. You can start emulating that and then start practicing that really hard.
Look, it's tough at the top. It's as simple as that. And if you want to be the best, you got to play the best. Simple as that's literally it.
Across the board, man.
I think the plane's live.
It is.
Are we going to go into this game?
I think we should.
All right, rock and roll game number 4. This will be the last map for CIS and Turkey region. And as ever, I'm going to let you run us through where teams should be going, generally speaking, if we see any odd bods or odd peculiar drops. But we'll see first where the plane decides to take us. If she gives us a nice easy route, or if it's unfortunately going to be a bit rough for some of these teams, and transitions could be extremely hurtful. Obviously, in the back we have our wonderful observation team. It's always nice to be working with Will and Ansvar again. It's always wonderful.
Solid, gentlemen.
Hey, I've said this before. If TOs aren't using them, then it's not an event.
Well, playing is somewhat similar to what we saw for game number 1, and if you look at where people are going, no big surprises indeed. You can see right there that we've got one team down south. Of course, I need to get the list because they don't have the numbers. You know what, I'm not even going to look for it because it's too messy. But Na'Vi going to Picado. They've been going there for the most part. Saw that last week as well. What have we got there as... just Los Leones. We actually have 2 teams dropping hot there now, whereas in the previous game, we had 2 teams rotate in a little bit later on.
Oof.
The Circle, though, has completely gone to the other side of the map this time, Sims. So, Northern Circle, no water. This is going to be a slugfest.
Okay, so let's talk about this at a bigger picture then. So the plane comes in on the west side. It goes across to east. It's a diagonal tangency, aiming more towards the north. Fair play. But the bigger thing that it does where this circle does come perpendicular is that everybody has to rotate to this. Now, the easy routes that you're going to be in is if you decide to go up the east roads, go through El Pozo, maybe hit La Coberreria. I'm going to try and do these names as much as possible, so please don't be offended if I mispronounce wrong.
It's a hard laugh.
It's hard, but we will keep going. You have Torre Amada, or Amuda, I think it is, where Campo Militar. So the team that's up in Militar will have a nice easy transition to there. They might be able to come in, stop anybody doing what I would call a phase shift, like on Erangel, where you'd see them go from Mil to Power, you'd see them skirt up through Stauber, and then kind of dive in on the top end around Saverne. The biggest problems are going to be anywhere that's more southerly on this circle, because it's where you get all your little low roads and your high roads, you can transition through. There's lots of little side streets that you want to take the vehicles, because that's an extremely, topology-wise, to try and drive across there is null and void. It's going to be a bad day for anybody who wants to do it. Further afield, if any of these teams decide they want to push out and spread into La Coberreria, just, force a bottleneck on the 2 little roads entering it, that's where you have a bigger problem, trying to get into it if teams decide to bottleneck this circle.
Yeah, same thing can be said for the east side. If you look at it around El Azahar, right, you've got this coastal road that's actually a really easy access point. But if you get people perched up, just maybe across 150, 200 meters, similar to what we saw there on Miramar, right? Or, pardon me, Erangel, on the coastline, you do something like that, then you're essentially controlling this entire section of the map where we see Snoopy looting up right now. Then you have another road that goes a little bit further out, north towards Campo Militar, but that's not going to be in play in a little bit of time. So, I mean, the real points of rotation are going to be on the sides.
You'd expect so. I mean, you can't come in from up north. That's completely locked off. Obviously, you've got the top wall that runs across the back. I mean, somebody could do a weird and wonderful rotation. The fact that they literally just run the wall, take vehicles and just drive along the wall and then come in from north. I mean, nobody would expect that. I have seen a team do it before, and it has been done, run the wall and just hope for the best. It is doable, but again, you've got to come down from the hills if you do come in from that west side. It's more viable if you do it from the east, even if it is a viability. Again, you're inside the circle, fair play, but you've got every single team in front of you. We'll run you through all the top camera down shots and just show you exactly where people are. You can see how they do the loot runs, so on and so forth, because this could be a little bit of a slower game, but that rotation to circle, it's expect to see a few teams dropping.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and there's definitely going to be some of these teams further down to the south that I think, are probably going to end up getting forced to make this rotation just straight up along the main roads. And that's when they're going to be running into some problems. Now, the guys in Los Leones, we've still got the 2 teams there. They're not duking it out. I like what Unique have done. They've gone all the way down this coastal road, headed south, so that they haven't, what in their mind should be an easy route all the way up. But now we actually have a team right there. I think that's huge potential, who have set up shop inside of Impala, so they could easily catch them on rotation. Because again, similar to what we were talking about, Froz and I, bringing vehicles off-road on this map is really difficult and actually more hazardous than it's, to help.
And this is why the roads are more of a favour to you than rather than bothering to do anything else. 249 will be inside the crate. Nice little LMG, but it's the level 3 is what's the most viable. However, it's by far one of the best guns in the game, especially when it comes to squads because of vehicles and so on and so forth. From a competitive stance, it's by far, you put one of those on a roster and you're going to have a good day.
It's brutal, man. And you can even mount a scope and it go prone from long range. Like, this terrain favors that kind of stuff. Like,
it's the one where it's got tripods on it. So
it's got a bipod, yeah, so it becomes a laser beam.
It's ridiculous. For an LMG to be able to do what it does, it's absolutely incredible. But yeah, kind of, you were talking about that team on the coastal road, so to speak. I mean, you look at this already. 1, 2, 3 teams are already in front of them. That's a little bit of a gauntlet. Again, at this level, playing in alpha, you would expect people not to drive through towns or city centres because, I'm sorry, you are quite literally asking to die. Meanwhile, unfortunately, school is not in session. The mother will not be picking the kids up. Unfortunately, the school bus is down.
That's brutal, man.
It's again, you're trying to run up a hill, up a mountainside in a frigging bus. Like you're ringing an alarm bell, you're turning up, and there's somebody going to be there. They're just going to drill you like that with an AKM.
What we always say is that when you pick a vehicle, you're ringing that alarm bell, but at least you've got speed. But in that regard, he was doing like 10 miles an hour. Just going so slowly. Such an easy kill. It was a free kill.
Yeah, exactly. It's just a free kill, simple as that.
It was like looking for that martyrdom, man. Inspired by Jesus. I mean, there's so many pictures of Jesus on this map, all over the place. You can see production bring them up.
I mean, we do it all the time. We just say it's the school bus is here, and we just pull up with it. We jump out of it. It's for something like that. If you want to try, hello.
Oh,
morning.
Ooh, that was a nice spray. Picks 1
and 2.
That's.
He doesn't even really have to do much. You can just leave these boys to die and let the sand do the work, because out in the middle of the desert, unfortunately, you're going to be easy pickings for the crows. Can't find him. He's lost him. For now.
He's crawled behind into one of the little crevices.
Where's he gone?
Underneath that's like a. Oh.
Observers behave.
There he is. Back again. But that was actually kind of sick because he didn't even reload. That was all in one mag.
Is it the tie? That's the third one. So that's the third member from Avanga that might.
Did they all run into Hallow? They did. Oh my. No wait, no. I think he killed him. I think he found and killed him.
He did, but I'm saying another player rotated by and still got tapped on the tires. So that's like Avanga have already lost 2 on rotation. There were potential there for a third one. Didn't quite happen. Unique are going for a unique play. Excuse the pun. They've decided to opt to go down south, which may mean they might take the dirt roads through the centre. Probably try and follow Navi's route, maybe skirt the outskirts of Picado. We'll see how that one fares for them.
It's interesting, right? Because while doing that, they could potentially backstab any of the other teams that are still lingering in that southern part of the map. For instance, they could maybe grab the guys here from...
Imagine.
I
think they'll go before that, to be fair.
I mean, it looks like they've got a good advantage on them. Same thing can be said here for Serung and Silence and those guys.
I like the fact that Max Azor's not just sticking on the outskirts of Torra. They're actually going a little bit further in, moving down the road, which gives them more viable space to kind of split between. You might hold someone back, an Octave, or potentially their next teammate who comes in might decide to hold around the outskirts of it to watch the people coming in, but they're deciding to go deep a lot. To be fair, quite a lot of teams are already just getting central and set up.
Yeah, exactly. You can see right there, TE Storm was taking a couple of shots of some of those guys. The yellow icon, again, they're stacked on each other, couldn't read the names. And then there was another team due north of them, where we could see random friends run into them immediately. Back at it, though. Another play here from QBF. One of these guys from TE Battle. Loses a tie, I think.
Yeah, the second that tie goes, unless he can hide and his teammate can pick him up, he's...
Oh, that's brutal. Yeah, he's stuck, man. He's completely stuck. There's nowhere to go. Sid is alone, though, luckily for him.
He's got Melman in the wins, though. Look at that. That's some support coming through. And he's got 8 times on the back of an SLR. I tell you what, you shoot my friend, I'll shoot yours. Takes his tyres out and gets on
And he has
his
a
way.
vehicle as well, so you could go pick him up. What a save there from Melman.
It's he hasn't saved him just yet. He's not out of the woods. He's getting some...
Come on,
In
Melman.
fact, that's another fire from a different team. So one team goes on to him, takes him out of his vehicle, then all of a sudden, we just see 4s with more bullets on the way. Mumino.
Mikhailovic going down right there. That's
Fortune.
Mino dropped as well by the Swarm. So they do return the favor at least. 1
player left already. Avanga are already down to 1 player.
Oh my god.
And we're literally 10 minutes into a game, and they've almost... I said it before, said it again. Avanga, sometimes their rotations can be... It's their worst enemy. We've seen it time and time again.
I mean, we certainly have. It's rough for them for sure. No,
0 points as well. If you come last, 16th place, 0 points is absolutely
that's true. Like,
devastating. Am I jinxing this here? Is he going to get him up?
I think he's got him. He's covered now, but Alga is moving a little bit more towards the right-hand side, so could potentially find an angle. We'll see. No, he doesn't see them. They're so lucky. But shoot out the tyres of the vehicle, at least, I'd say. Deny them that ability to transport out of there.
I mean, really can't. If there's 3 people looking at them, is there any much they can make of that? They're trapped behind literally a rock. And I think there's also another team potentially behind them, which will be creeping in. Everyone now does make it inside the circle. We have a couple of late stragglers, 2 individual players. Yeah, unfortunately, rock and a hard place. Look at this pincer. Team behind them might just wipe Avanga here. This could be awful.
Yeah, looks like it. Right now, a lot of fire is coming in. And I'm just waiting for the team right behind them to turn their attention over towards the gunfire, because I'm sure they hear it. But it looks as if they're actually moving away. So a little bit of a godsend here for the players of Avangar.
Sani's just giving his teammate a high five with the blunt end of the vehicle. Fair play. I mean,
happens to the best of us.
Yeah, whatever works for you.
Oh, well, never mind. There was a drop. Okay, so this is nice. He's going to get himself an AUG, level 3 equipment all the way. And you can see it now that the rest of his team have turned their attention over towards the guys behind the rocket. And, well, I'm just waiting for this, man. Like, they're pinned down hard. They've lost. Now they've also shot out the tires of the vehicle as well. I mean, what are they going to do? They could maybe just stay prone and hope that no one comes up in the back. And then maybe the Swarm would start engaging them. You know, maybe that's what they're hoping for. But it's definitely a little bit long-winded at this stage, I'd say.
School buses, I'm telling you, stay away from them. On this map, they're absolutely treacherous because they're so slow and so large. They're just sluggish. There is a unique. Did go for the unique rotation. So they have gone all the way down south, and now they're coming in late game all the way west.
They're going making this horseshoe
I
rotation.
like this. This is late, and you know what? It might pay dividends because if they come in to Cobriera, Cobrieria. There we go. Then they might get lucky in the fact that nobody's gatekeeping this, unless we see this red team QB F just in front of them decide to move forward. Then we could have problems. Look at that damage,
and look at the accuracy with the red dot.
This is right here is the power of the mutant.
Oh, and he's taking fire as well, so he needs to go down.
And also the power of not being aware that oncoming fire is a real thing.
Oh,
and
he knocks himself out.
So he's jumping off the map.
Wow, that's one way to do it as well. He should have brought his parachute.
He's called Vampire. You'd expect him to turn into a bat, but this time it didn't happen. He's dead.
It's broad daylight, man. He's weakened in the sun.
You finished it. I love it. Brilliant. No, he's dead.
Yeah, there's no saving him, man. Huge potential. Perched ups here, and they've also made a relatively early rotation in towards the sun. Kippy is actually trying to go for it. He might be able to pick up his teammate. But look at this now. Unique is going to be going for this one, and they should be really surprised to actually run into anyone right here. Best of luck from QBF. What? He's not...
360.
Come on. Oh, there it is. What a shot. SLR finds its mark. Tried and tested. Built in Britain.
You love to see it. Call it a bit of SLR work. Opts for the secondary rather than the initial spray. I mean, like you say, it goes for the horseshoe handbrake turn, but doesn't last much longer than that. They did, but what?
They managed to pick him up.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Must have gone there with like an offering or something.
Kippy went all the way in, drove up the side of the mountain, and then Vampire slid down the rest of the way.
Nice.
And luckily for them, no one from TES was shooting at them.
Daywalker, I think is the term we're looking for. Daywalker. Okay, so we did see that initial play go down with the SLR, which kind of, in bigger story, keeps a hold at least of the rest of his teammates. He's the sacrifice. He's the peace offering. He goes down. The other three will now be able to move in a different area and try and avoid the team that is playing spoiler on the gatekeep side. All 4 members here for S frags.
Yeah, get ready for this one, man. It's going to get very messy. Meanwhile, on another side of town, Grishka Power is taking some very long-range shots over towards one of the players from Huge Potential, but he's not going to find anything.
Just reminds me of Las Vegas, this man.
No, wait, that's I think that's the Swarm or Random Friends. I can't actually tell.
This is literally what Vegas is like in the back, just in like the back skirts. It's just desert and nothing. Like a couple of houses here and there, your odd casino. But outside of the city centre, the whole thing is just a desert. And this is, look, I mean, it's different. I like this map in the fact that it's something different. It plays completely different. It's a different style of game. Okay, I'll hold on for a second. Spray down comes through. M4 goes for the knock, goes for the flush. 16 points go his way. Easy kill there. Now he backs off, but now he's got to call for support. Either that or he's just going to bail the living hell. Yep, he's gone. Bye-bye.
I love this. This is so smart. This is essentially a hit and run thing. Goes in, picks off one, and then just gets the hell out of there. And the rest of his team, they're not, or the opposite team, they're not even on a side, so they have an angle to engage him, to take shots at him as he's leaving the area. And he even had some teammates providing some cover.
And he hits him with a 3 times at that range. Okay.
Some people, man.
Okay. I'm done. Fair play.
You've
got to make sure you knock him out, though, because with a 24 staring it with an 8 times, fair play to him.
Yeah, that's you don't want to contend with that one for too long.
No, it's going to give you a headache. But to go back a little bit more about this map, it's the difference of how it looks, how it feels. It's just night and day scenario from Erangel, right?
I actually want to stop you right there. I like that you bring that up. How it feels can be so important to many of these teams. I think especially for some of the guys a little bit lower down in the Bravo division, right? Where you don't have all of the... where you simply don't have the same skill set, right? Because otherwise, if you did, you'd be in the Alpha division.
Yeah.
That's a small detail that
this
could be worth sort of digging into a little bit later. But
grenades have gone down, so they have the information where they are. That's a flash. But look at the gear. Budget helmet, level 1. Ooh. And they're sending him in first.
Look at the grenade!
Oh my god.
Oh, he caught it with his feet.
Did it hit him?
Yes, it did. It's absolutely brutal. Elite's play now going to go on out on the wide peak. He's got a friend with him right there for the double. And that's going to be it. They get absolutely obliterated. X5 frags could very well be the team to go out here first in game number 4. They've only got Sharkies left now, who's hightailing it out of there.
So it's literally between him and a player from a Vanga that are now holding on for points, basically, because either of them two go down and that's 0 in the bag. That'd be devastating for a game number 4. Meanwhile, Melman in the kill feed. That's an instant kill. Winside Smokey, he's down. SLR kill comes flying through. All the rest of the team are watching now, crossing the road. You'll see Navi down at the bottom as well. And this is where it gets messy because the topology of the map, everyone's got either a building, they've got a ridge. Look at that. 4 teams all clustered together and more on arrival. Sharkies, unfortunately, he might be a shark, but he might be swimming into danger. There are plenty of people inside that small zone. Where does he go? Oh my god, you poor bugger. He might be going down very, very soon because he's on the road. And he's driving yet again into another team.
So many, loses the tire.
No.
Now he's onto foot. Okay, I hope he's wearing his running shoes right now because he's definitely going to need them. He's trying to do it serpentine, but it's not going to be enough. And finally, there it is. X5 frags. Winners in game 2 go out in last place in game number 4.
I mean, it was literally, what, a minute ago that all 3 of his teammates died? So within a minute, you just lose a team like that and you've got 0 points. That's how fast this game can change. And that speaks bigger to the map. Johnny Bones, I was wrong, so he's dead because that's an insta, and they've not lost it. So I have no idea how, but Avanga got out of that situation where there were 2 behind the rock all that time. They've lost 1 player, so one of them is still hiding and lurking somewhere, but they survived. They didn't get 0 points. They've at least survived. I know they might be able to scrape, you know, a couple of points away. I mean, what is it for that place? It's going to be 10 points. It's better than nothing, at least. How they've managed to survive for that long, I've honestly no idea. Whether or not the team that was shooting them just give up and said, we're wasting too much time here for the sake of what? 32 points, let's not overcommit to it, let's move on and just leave them be.
It's funny, actually, because now that I think about it, in the second game of last week, Avangar were in the exact same position as they are now. They lost all the members except 1. And what he does, he goes on prones behind one of these cars. I'll get to that later, actually, because close range engagement right now. Super brutal stuff. And immediately, M19 just overruns Zolters, and he's going to go down. He was all alone in that little shack. But to just finish up my story, he goes and prones behind one of these cars, one of these old rusty cars on the side of the road, and just lies there for like 10, 15 minutes. And 2 players pass him, and then he gets up and shoots them both and gets his team a second place finish.
Something like that is just game changing. It really is, and it can turn it on a pinhead. Grenades through. She's cooked. She's primed, but unfortunately, she's just a little bit off target. He's got a second one as well. He might be able to clip the vehicle before it runs away. Now he's dry. Oh, he's going to drive into that. No, he's not. Covering fire will come through. I like what they've done here. They've sent the vehicle off. They've shut the tires out so it rolls downhill to try and draw the fire away. It's crafty and it's clever because it draws the attention of onlookers. They're looking towards them. You could hear the shots in the background, which it does. At least for now, they do survive. But again, that mutant comes in at range and gets a knock across map. What's that, 300-400 meters?
Yeah. That's brutal. Oh my god, so many people dying. Mumino goes down. That's Avanga out. 15th place.
10 points from a sec. What were they before coming into this second?
Yeah.
That's not good. That might just send them flying down.
Most certainly will. I mean, it's all going to come down now to the other 4 bottom teams on how well they do now in the remainder of this game. But we'll see. TE Battle are still there. They're still staying afloat. They're like looking fairly solid as a team overall in the general standings. They're not like at the very top, but they're not at the very bottom. They're just, you know, relatively safe of where they are. So that obviously has to feel good, but same thing can't be said for the likes of, well, for instance, the guys in, oh my god, just completely.
Just completely gone?
Yeah, just completely.
Don't worry about
gone.
it. We'll move on. We can have a look at this one.
I'll remember it later, man.
I'll let you come back. I always come back to it. It's fine. Just really quickly though, look at this.
Look at the centre there.
3 teams just on this western bank, and that's all on a defilade. That's all on the hillside.
It's like a layer cake.
This could be. Oh god, you might see him as well. So one of them's advanced through. So the 3 different teams. Appeal's just going to wait here for now. He might get spotted. One comes around the corner. Okay, there's a knock. I would probably not go for the finish, and he isn't. There's a second one. You've got to find the third, though. If you want these kills, you've got to make sure that they don't connect.
But he's so far disconnected from this one. He's going to lose both his teammates. No way, Apple! You monster. Huge potential for sure.
So the only person they have to worry about is Poco, who has a sniper who's just lingering, unless...
I think he hears him. He's going to see him in his peripheral view at least. There he sees the head. No way!
What a snap. Kill him before you go down.
Apple finally drops there. The support sniper does his job, albeit maybe a little too late. They lost half of their team in that. To 1 man.
At least he held his ground, though, and at least he managed to get that kill, because 1, that bags them 16. 2, it gets them a placement, so they jump up because they've eliminated a team. 3, he has kept his teammate alive. If he would have run in, he would have got involved. That was a good set of sprays, 3 versus 1. He did pretty well. Could have been a 4th victim, and he could have gone the other way, but he, like you said, the support sniper, he sits, he holds his nerve, and he hits his shot when it matters most. Good job from him, keeps him in the competition. Meanwhile, Pokemon goes down. Oh, okay. Well, unfortunately, Cam could have just get run over, so that's going to be a bit of a drive-by that. It looks like Doozy's vehicle is smashed to bits. It's smoking, and the tyres are gone. He's had to pull up. He's forced off the road. That's
kind of awkward having to bandage right next to it as well, because if there was an angle right for any of these other players, they see him roll on in. They just put rounds into the engine block and it pops.
And Windsider right above him. He looks down with this. Red Donna 24. All right, well, I mean, whatever works for you. I personally, got the three times on a Scar.
Well, he's got a good angle here onto the players of Na'Vi. They're stuck in a defilade for one side, but at the same time, you pop your head over those ridge lines, and there are so many other teams that they're going to start looking your way the moment you pull that trigger. And you saw it right there.
Stick it on your sniper, please.
Put nice shots here, though, from Poco Dildo.
Yeah, we'll just go with Poco for now.
Poco.
Yeah, we'll stick with that one.
K Poco.
We'll leave it at that.
Weird names, man. It's hard to read sometimes.
It is, and sometimes I read them out and don't realise what they mean. It's one of those things. 6 times as well. I've got to say, that's the one thing I want to mention quickly. 3 times and the 6 times. Really good addition to PUBG. I think it's opened up a lot of doors.
Completely agree with you. Especially the 6 times, man.
It is. The fact that actually quite a few people prefer it on the sniper to the 8 times. I could understand why. It gives you a bit more of a peripheral view when you do come back, and I think it just opens up a lot more. I mean, it was interesting the fact that they took 8 times all off ARs. They wanted to open things up more, but then they introduced a 6 that you can put on like a 16 and stuff like that.
And then you have the variable zoom as well.
Indeed. I think it's a really, really good addition to PUBG, and they've allowed a lot more different players.
Look at these grenades, by the way. Oh my god.
Oh dear.
Almost catches one of these guys from TE Battle. They've got 3 players left standing.
Now, opposing kind of alternate thing here for throwing all those grenades, you've given away your position. That's the only downside to this. You've also told the rest of the teams that are up the hill that you're down there.
That's right. I mean, you could see some of these teams all the way out. They can't hear the gunshots. They can definitely hear those grenades. But oh my god, TE Storm, close range, gets one. Not entirely sure. There was a Kippy from Vega Squadron, so I think that's Vega gone as well. Pardon me, that Kit Kat actually get eliminated.
All right.
Oh my god.
Long range AKM. SKS comes into play 3 times on the back. Laser sight underneath.
That's an interesting choice. I mean, he's not going to be. Is he going to start hip firing people from up here with SKS? I mean, he could.
Anything's possible in this game. I'm sure.
Oh, like this, for instance. Okay, makes the jump.
Oof.
And gets shot in the back immediately by one of these guys from X Team.
He is so lucky. He has a level 3 vest on. If he had the 2, he would have been dead then, 100%. Ongoing fight down below, as we see now. One of his teammates hits the deck. Smoke's there at least to give him that level of support, but he wants to get ballsy. He stepped up and taken a battle himself. 1, 2, 3 players, 4 consecutively. Can we see the nail in the coffin here? Scoops down the corner. Vampire once again. He's out, and this time he is dusted and sent home. Stick through the hat. He's gone. More shots coming in. Death from above here. You can see the blood splattering as X Team does just want to try and get in, but unfortunately runs into a doozy. He's been sat here with his vehicle just smashed to bits.
And the grenades start raining on in, though. It's Windside, of course, launching the artillery. One grenade goes off right next to that car, and it's going to be popping like a popcorn, but he's taking so much damage now. He's out of first aid kits. He needs to make a run for it. But you've got TE Storm on the other side of the road as well with an angle towards him. Luckily, though, he has a friend up top. But is it going to be enough? A friend in need is a friend indeed, but standing, he's going to have to pull an oxen load of work for his friend down below.
But a friend killing enemies is better, I think, is the final one to this one.
That's true.
Because if they push now and eliminate these guys, they might not. Or they might do. Oh, that's a big gap.
It's
though.
the jump again.
Oh, good lord, that's going to hurt.
And
you've got to go
as
now.
well.
Run, jump, sweet child, do not.
Okay, they didn't spot him. This is so important.
They've got full stims on, remember, as well, so their health will be topped up. He's going to slow up this one through as soon as he... Where's his teammate? His teammate with him? There's one.
Make that 2, potentially. No, sir, not yet. He tags him up, and now they know. Maybe he pulled the trigger a little bit too quickly.
2 people above as well, just be aware of that.
Oh my god.
They're finishing him off.
That's a good grenade, though. He gets it with a grenade, at least. Still alive.
Alive and kicking, but for how long? Rolls the grenade. It's not going to be long enough. They do have a gap to kind of survive through, but can he survive much longer than this? 2 players will be above, looking down upon him. Can he actually... Oh, so he's going to lowball this one. He's also going to bounce it off if that goes around the corner. That's going to be incredible. He doesn't know where they are.
Oh, I think it's going to be rolling down towards him. Oh, doesn't damage him.
Only got 23 seconds, though. This is going to be a brutal circle for all these boys that want to try and make it towards it, because...
honestly, I think even more so for free agents. They're so up high that wherever they go, I think they will have to jump a little bit, which means they take more damage.
Look, they're trying to pick up these 3 points by grabbing these kills.
We've got 8 already, actually, so that's a lot.
Fair play to them. All right, we can keep going with this, but meanwhile all this is happening, just remember they're getting further and further away from the play zone.
That was nicely timed. Good attempt, but that was actually stolen off here by the guys below.
Is it worth the risk, though? Because now you haven't really got much time to run. The blue's going to be on the back. You've got to do whatever you can to get in here. 5 kills between this team on screen. Sid with 1. Besto with 2. 6 kills, though, from Poco.
Oh, he's still here, man.
Another low ball, underarm. Bounces it. Let's see if he can hit any of those 10 pins, and he does. No, that was another player.
That was QB on the other side of the map.
Good timing.
Ran, certainly was. Perfect on top.
Surely he's got to know these guys are still behind him.
There it is. Finishes off 1. He knows there's 1 more. Yeah, even reveals his position. There he goes down to the zone. That's 5 teams now, guys. 9 players left standing. And Poco's taking a lot of damage right now in his movement. And there it is. Rekrent comes in, takes him out finally. There's his revenge. Because remember, Poco took off one of his teammates earlier on.
And this is what I mean about sitting back and looking for those easy 3 points. They now put themselves in the position where it's there on the back foot. They have to fight their way into this. If he sees him and finishes him off, that's going to be a bit of a feels bad man, because that means all the work they did to try and... All right,
there it is. Snoopy takes him down.
So they might have just saved his life up on top of that hill. He might get away with this one, because he's made it into the top 4. He'll get spotted. He's got a slither, absolute slither of life, and there's nowhere to go. The blue might actually finish him off here.
Remember, he's got Ironest a little bit further up as well, so...
Oh, you're a dead man.
There it is, and free agents go out. 4th place. It's really starting to close now, over towards the final moments of this game, number 4, ladies and gentlemen. We're actually only 29 minutes in, so it really shows how this circle has been a lot more brutal in terms of the... How much it forces these teams together.
We might be able to get a bigger map in the corner and show you guys how this one's going to play out rather than bringing it up on screen. You can see one team is dead center, while the other 2 are playing off the back foot. It's a 3 versus 2 versus 1, and there it is. You can see it all unfold here. The guys in the middle have the numbers advantage. They don't know that on blue team. So they'll still be very cautious and still be very careful, but they'll certainly at least spread themselves a little bit thin so they can watch more angles. Remember, this is an Octave's new roster. Is it random friends, I believe it is?
That's correct.
Well, hopefully they don't do some random players, because if they keep it together, they've got this one in the bag. They need to be aware. There's QB Fire of the snake that will not be in the grass, but this is actually a sand dune snake. Iron Nest might have balls of steel if he can hold it together. If he's lucky, these 2 might die and he'll bag himself a 2nd place by chilling, but the grenade's there, so now they have the information. But I also like the fact that Best has the information where Iron could be coming from.
Oh, but he gets spotted out. Oh, no, maybe no. I don't think he got spotted. That was just.
That's the observer.
Oh, yeah, those Azrain just putting random shots over towards Musk, but he actually hit him once.
Again, that's the thing that with these players. If you see smoke, you know someone's going to be lingering around, so you're just going to go for the shots and hope for the best. Obviously, with the observer UI, we do see these players inside, so don't be thinking anyone's cheating or not like that. It's just we can see them on the observer.
And these grenades also quite close from QBF over towards random friends. Both of them trading grenades right now. As you can see, they're raining on in.
That's a good one.
That's almost
Tickled
a very good grenade. But finally, Ironest goes down. The smoke fades, and with that, his life. So now it's down to these 2 remaining teams. The Swarm will go out in 3rd place, and it's down to a 3 versus 2, 3 versus 1. Pardon me, grenade is absolutely spot on. That's a slam dunk, and the second one as well, connecting with Sid, doing so much damage. And with that, having got the knock, they're going to push for it. And they just absolutely smash him. QBF go out 2nd place, and with that, Random Friends pick up another win here on Miramar once again.
And that's what some people don't do. Some people allow teams to gather their thoughts together and get themselves back to life. With something like that, you could see Ono just absolutely bull rushed it at the end. His teammate also pushed up from the bottom flank. They got the knock, they got the pick, and then they just collapsed on it. Perfect PUBG. That's exactly what we want to see teams doing. If you've got a numbers advantage, get stuck in there, eliminate them, grab the game. Don't give them any sign of life to be able to come back, because sometimes it comes back and it can haunt you.
Oh yeah. Absolutely. You know, I really love seeing stuff like this. So I'm a guy, I've grown up playing a lot of armor and tactical games and stuff, and I even went as far as to do like some sim, sort of super nerdy stuff, right? But one of the core tenets of infantry combat is that when you engage at close range like this, you just go straight in, because it's got this shock value where you sort of overwhelm your opponent's senses so they don't have time to collect their thoughts and communicate or anything. Everything just breaks down. And if you do that well, like we saw there, when you even have a man advantage, it's effective tenfold.
We're seeing it a lot more at higher end.
Yeah, like and like
crashing buildings successfully.
Yeah, when I first cast some of the stuff from the first season of GLL, it was only like some of the fringe games. I barely saw any of it. But now here throughout the 2nd and now in the 3rd season, it's becoming a lot more commonplace, and I love it, man.
There is going to be a point where your IGL says, look, once this circle moves, we're out of luck. There's literally nothing we can do. We need to assess the situation and see where we're going to go. Rip Vampire, press F in the chat. Thank you very much.
I did survive this ordeal, though. Like, funnily enough.
I was quite surprised, to be honest with you. This is a little belter. Back of the head. See you later. Oh, actually, yeah, it was. But no, it kind of becomes one of those values where your IGL says, look, this next circle, boys, we're going to be out of luck here. It's going to kill us. Simple as that. Oh, he did hit his leg as well. Good catch on that one. So, what do? Do we now go into the blue? Do we reposition? Do we re-rotate to somewhere better? Or do we crash a building? Do we have the numbers advantage? What do we have? What is his gears like? What are his weapons like? You know, what's the utility of a better word? How are your helmets? How are your chests? What's your next fight survivability? If you've got the vehicles, if you've got full level 2s, maybe a cheeky level 3, there may be an MLG, an LMG that you can just breach a building with. Maybe you've got an MK with a red dot on it that you can breach with. You know, the MK14, people are using it as a breaching weapon
You're
now.
on that in full auto, man.
Literally stick it on full automatic. Have a look and talk to your team what's available in front of you. If it's time to take a build and if it's time to take a prime position, then hell, I'm all for it. And you're kind of seeing that calculated judgments a lot more at the higher end. And it's a matter of knowing when to take them and when not to take them. Like in PUBG, when it's time, is it time to shoot? Is it time to hold my trigger back and not give away my position?
Look, it's like a perfect shot in pool. Bounces and then goes straight into the hole.
And then that one almost killed him. Yeah, these some of these boys are freaks, and it scares me. It really does. I'm getting old now, and I can't do some of these stuff. But watching what some of them do at the high end, it's a real treat, and it's good to see it coming from a slightly different region. You know, CIS and Turkey. All right, it's not EU, it's not America with the big names and the big brands as such, but coming out of this region, it's really good to see. So it's again, emerging scenes, and this is what I've said. GLL's done really well for a while. They've found 2 champions from the CIS region, and they breed players.
Yeah, of course. I mean, one of the things that I find with PUBG that's so exhilarating is I have to go back a little bit from when I first started. I was somewhat skeptical, right? I was like, you know, how is this going to work out? And then I sat down, started going through some of my first games. I'm like, this is actually really good, because the level of play blew me away. I was expecting it, like, you know, in my games, obviously absolutely atrocious. But then here you have teams that look to have a completely different sense of cohesion and stuff like that. And we just see that getting better and better and better the longer we have these tournaments running. So now for this 3rd season, you know, I'm expecting that this is probably going to be the best season. And already, like with the way things have started across the regions, EU, NA, and in the CIS and Turkey regions, I think that we've had some really sick games, and we're only in the 2nd week.
I think 2019 is going to be an amazing 2019 for PUBG.
Oh, hell yeah. Most certainly will. I'll say this. I'll be very surprised if it's not.
They'll go big. They'll go ham. I think that's the only way forward, to be honest with you. You can see already the changes that have been happening with the patches, the constant updates. You saw with the fixed PUBG server tick getting increased, you know, game, everything that just keeps happening. Then we're getting new weapons, we're getting new vehicles. We had Sanak. Things are just looking really good.
They certainly are.
To do the fixed PUBG thing, I will say, for a developer to come out like that and put cards on the table and say, look, this is what's wrong and this is what we're going to fix and you guys deserve better. I think it's refreshing in 2018. You never see that.
It's so rare to have that level of transparency.
Yeah, right. That's the word I'm looking for.
Like I think it's so easy for a developer, like especially if they're doing well, to just be like, yeah, whatever, guys, we've made the money, let's just run off. But the fact that they, you know, put down their foot, like, no, guys, we're going to fix this and we're going to make it better. Like now, if anything, I think this is like some of the best times to actually get into PUBG now. Like if you're new to the game, if you're just tuning in, watching it, you know, checking it out to see what it is, you should definitely go get it. You know. Or
now, if you know, with the quality of life updates, if you're like, well, it used to be a bit run a bit muggledy on my PC, so to speak, and you struggle with FPS. The quality of lives are fantastic.
Oh,
like, I run it at 144 and it plays so smooth. It's great. So
it's sick now.
And if you're wondering why we're just bantering and talking away, it's because we are waiting to get the points generated in the back, and we can show you who is the winners and unfortunately the losers that will be relegated down to the B division of week number 2. But you had fun.
Great time, man.
Yeah, CS.
Of course.
It's good, isn't it? Watching CS.
Actually, I'm really happy that I get to do all 4 games, because it, like, even though I'm doing that, you guys are then going to be moving on to do EU and NA. So by the way, guys, don't go anywhere, because we're going to be coming right back with that. Then, you know, it's nice to sort of have one region I can focus on. And then, you know, maybe for the future, I'll come in and do some more stuff. But we actually have the points. It's been fixed now, guys. So let's take a look and see the standings for all 4 games here tonight. We're going to be starting, of course, with the final game. The score tally is a little bit lower. No one in the double digits in terms of the kills, but Random Friends pick up a victory here at 512 points. Then QBF coming in second, of course, at 426. Free Agents 384. But if we look at the very back, Na'Vi 60 points.
And remember,
52. It's not looking very good for them.
They were down in the red zone. Oh my.
In the red zone, they shall remain.
Vega, unfortunately, they do advance to Alpha Division, but instantly for week number 3, they are kicked back down. They'll end up down in B Division next week. M19, Natus Vince and Forza will also be following them. Na'Vi and M19. Season 1 and Season 2 champions, and I keep playing on about it, but it's a big thing. And you don't necessarily have a target on your back, but you certainly have that aura about you. You have that name. People know what you can do. Unfortunately, with 12 kills,
They
kills are pretty not bad.
they also know what you can't do within the range of the first 2 weeks. Do you know what I mean? Vega Squadron, by the way, really important to mention. They drop out after just having made it in.
Did I just see Navi with 4 kills across 4 maps?
Yes.
4 games, excuse me. That's rough. That's brutal.
Yeah, like
that's not good enough.
For me, like I'm just feeling really bad for Vega Squadron, you know, because like I've said it, I think I said it 4 times now that they've just made it in and then immediately knocked back down. You're
the way
not
it is.
feeling good
Again,
about
you're
that
playing